Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network. Coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square with your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, and for the first time, well, okay, I see it's not the first time. I'm seeing both of us spread across the tower there. I need to put a little distance between me and that tower. There we go.
Yeah,
There we go. I don't want to
I'm
get
not
dick.
handling that whole side of the Cock Tower. It ain't happening.
Yeah. We meet at the tip for the show, and that's it.
I'm just above the balls there. What the fuck?
What in the ball sniffer? Holy Christ! Well, how was your holiday? Did you blow anything up? Did you lose any fingers besides clues?
No, I took a break from taking the chance on any kind of appendage being hurt because we were already a man down. So, or
Man down
I mean a hand down.
or hand
So,
down? Handyman, yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Remember that TV show, Handyman?
yeah.
The handicapped superhero. He was just ahead, right? You heard that story. Kid was born. He was just ahead. The mother took him everywhere she went, set him in windows, and let him look outside and play. You've heard that story. He'd watch all the kids across the street in the park play, and he would just talk to her, and she was like, that was her thing. That was her boy. And then one day, a fairy godmother comes up to the window, and she says, "Little boy, that's just ahead. Let me grant you a wish. What would it be?" And he says, "I want to be a strong young man and be able to go out across the street and play with the kids in the park." And so she says, "So be it," and grants his wish. And the kid's all excited. He's jumping up and down. Mom, look, Mom, I've got a body. Look, Mom, I'm going to the park and playing. He runs down the stairs, runs out the front door, runs across the road, and gets fucking hit by a garbage truck and killed. And you know what the moral of that story is?
What's that?
Once you're ahead, stay ahead. You hear about the four guys in the Titanic?
No,
The waiter, the teacher, the lawyer, and the priest?
no.
You guys hear about this? This is crazy.
Tell
Ready?
us more. Tell us
Well,
more.
the waiter says, "We should get to the lifeboats." And the teacher says, "Well, what about all the children?" And the lawyer says, "We ain't got time to, we ain't got to do, or no, we ain't got time to worry about the children." And the priest says, "Are you all sure we don't have time for that?"
Oh,
Nice.
fuck.
God damn it. You're going to hell there, Sarge. That's true. I'm going to be down there holding the door for the rest of us.
That's right.
Come on in.
Come on in. Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Sit down for a spell. Put your feet up. Yep. Yeah, I guess it's going to be it won't be lonely down there. I can promise you that. Pisses in Pool's Clue. Did y'all see the horn lady? She pisses in Clue's pool. That lady peed in your pool. How'd she get near your pool?
Oh no, that's her cohort, her follower, Foghorn Freddy. He's inspired by her.
Oh,
So, where she'd been talking about pissing in her yard, he decided to piss in the yard and the pool. The
well,
motherfucker.
that was creative of him. Did you catch him on video?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh,
on.
that's on.
Yeah, it's on her channel.
You actually got a video of someone peeing in your pool?
Yeah, you can find it on on her channel.
Is it a real person or an animation? What
Oh,
the
it's
hell's
a
going
real
on?
fucking person.
And they came to your house and peed in your pool?
You just have to watch it, Sarge.
You guys aren't golden showering down there in Tennessee, are you?
I mean, hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Well, that one actress there from the Saturday Night Live show, Chandler or whatever her name is. Did you ever see that video of her? Someone pushed her in the water and he whipped out his dick and started pissing on her, and she opened her mouth to catch it. It's quite fucked up, man. You didn't see that? Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
I missed a lot throughout life, Sarge. Some of us have to work more than 2 hours a fucking week. Okay.
Well, you know something? You know what? It's coming this year to be maybe 3 or 4 hours a week. In all fairness.
Well, okay.
And I'll be taking off in October, November. I'll close down and stay closed until spring. Some of us got to do what we got to do. I can't complain. America's given me the opportunity. Well, there were opportunities that I could cut through to get to where I'm at, and I took that road less traveled.
There you go.
Ew, Sergeant, what the hell? Hey, I didn't do the peeing, and I wasn't the one catching the pee, so I don't know what to tell you, Graham. I'm just pointing out that there's a famous actress. She's kind of a nasty little left-wing bitch. And, you know, it is what it is. What am I? What do I know? What is Clue? Clue, you got anything to say to our help desk? Any information about the speed of urination, or just jism?
What's the question?
You got anything to say from the health desk? Anything to state about the state of urination or anything at all?
Make sure you look where you walk. You're welcome.
You know, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh. What do you do when it's dark?
Pray. I don't know. Feel with your toes.
Feel with your toes. Stick toes. Put sticks in your feet and walk around. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
You just better watch out. Julie may want to hire you for her next movie. There you go. There you go. Please, you could be movie famous instead of just co-host famous.
Well, you know,
What's
apparently
that,
I don't show up enough as co-host, so I'm going to be replaced by a fucking Fanta can. This motherfucker said I'm looking around for a new co-host, and all I see is empty fucking fruit-flavored soda cans. You got a deep voice for a 5-year-old, Sarge.
Yeah, well, I matured early, I guess. Well, you know, it is what it is. Oh my god! So I did a message too, and I thought it was pretty good. I kind of like, you know, do what I normally do and smack people around a little bit, point out the facts that nobody wants to talk about, and all the people involved that don't get any scrutiny at all, but you're going to worry about some fucking reflection in some fucking tree or off the side of a fucking dumpster or some video in the dark where you got to fucking pixelate the fuck out of it to get the picture you're looking for. Or a grub truck, let's go talk about that. You know, let's go accuse the fucking Aryan Nation. Harsh reality, you fucking twit. And instead of going after the people to put this case together that charged Koberger, a case that's just so ridiculously full of holes. Dude, it's a bucket with no bottom and no sides. That's the kind of fucking, that's what they built here.
Yeah.
An invisible bucket. And they're going to bail the ship out. These guys aren't even handing out shot glasses to bail the water. They're handing out invisible buckets. And nobody wants to discuss them, talk about them, and dig into them. There's so much information that you could probably find about these people that did what they did. And they should be on blast. Why are we blasting frats? Why are we blasting fucking potential drug dealers? We don't know. They have anything at all to do with this. And we're ignoring the fucking cops. We're ignoring the fucking lawyers. We're ignoring the judges. Even the dog catcher might be involved here. Didn't he pick Murphy up? Didn't somebody come to take care of the dog?
Shit, I don't know.
Well, they should be on blast too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Fucking I don't know anymore, Sarge. I don't know.
These people fucking... Same thing with Karen Reed, the same thing with well, fuck, I don't even know. Has Sebastian been found yet?
No. But God, yeah. God to almighty. What a fucking few days of fuckery have we had. Lord.
With what? With the streamers and the people following the streamers?
Oh, the fucking third-party, unverified, fucking LARPing ass, dog sniffing, fucking whatever the fucks,
it's bad,
and the fucking it would take us an entire 2 hours to go through it all. It's just endless fuckery. It's absolutely fucking insane, Sarge. It is insane. It's like this missing boy and this situation that has been created around this missing boy is a textbook. If somebody wants to write a book, that's what they should write it on, is the textbook of how to not fuck up a case. How to not fuck with a case and create a shit show and accuse people of a crime when at the end of the day you have a missing child. This is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it's beyond belief, Sarge. It is beyond belief.
Well, in this tragedy, there's a boy missing, right?
Right.
Okay. How about the other tragedy where some guy's in jail for 19 months on charges that not only can't be substantiated, but are fucking lies?
Yeah.
What about Karen Reed? What
Yeah,
about the Gilgo case?
Yeah.
Just thinking, here's the best part about it all is while all of that shit show is taking place, none of those assholes are looking for Sebastian.
Well, right. And that's
right.
we just talked about that a little bit on Dagos. And it's it's fucking, I don't know, it's not funny. I'm not laughing because it's really comical and it's a funny laughing situation. I'm laughing because I've lost my goddamn entire mind over the past few days with this shit. It's beyond belief. Beyond belief.
And it's absolutely insane. I find what happened here with the Koberger case to be, and the Karen Reed case, to know the truth, it's just that what is wrong with juries and the public and that's what should be examined. It's if you see the way people behave in true crime on YouTube, they absolutely have no interest in the fucking truth.
Well, yeah, if you want to know what's wrong with the public, turn on the fucking internet and watch. Because that is the public. That is in some cases, it's the public that you will see out in the fucking street. In the rest of the cases, it's the public that they won't show you until they're behind a fucking keyboard. That's what's wrong with the public. Look at the internet. It is the fucking worst of all of us. It's like it just brings it the fuck out.
Yeah, Achille 57 something, Achille, whatever their name is, saying the internet's destroying people, and it's not. The internet's not destroying anybody. The internet's actually showing. Look at it, showing you your fucking true colors. You 5.63 billion fucking twits.
Fuck yeah, you got
people really are. You don't want to deal with reality.
You got people inserting themselves into fucking missing kids situations, and then when people talk about that person inserting themselves, you have more people inserting themselves, and then more people inserting themselves, all to talk about somebody inserting themselves, and then the entire context of everything goes away from the kids missing.
Right. The simplest fucking point is the kids missing. What do we do to find them? That's all that you need to talk about. Like I keep saying in these criminal cases, I don't give a fuck whether the person did it or not. All that matters is the process under which we accuse and indict and prosecute. That's it. You'll know through that process. And that's what you're supposed to pay attention to as a citizen. That's why the system is set up the way it's set up. It's not set up so that you can make your opinion. Brian Mustard did it. It's not meant for that. This isn't a guessing contest to see who's fucking right or wrong. This is a process that has rules and procedures and policies. And as a matter of fact, Judge should be being attacked. Not physically, but at least through emails, Mr. fucking YouTube himself. When every single thing in the PCA has been admitted to by the police as being unverifiable or factually false, his job is to protect the fucking client from government overreach. Not because he's on Koberger's team, but because he fucking defends the Constitution. And who's the Constitution written to defend you from? Ironically, your own fucking government. I mean, what's wrong with Americans? That's the only reason you have a government. That's the only reason the Constitution exists, is to protect you from government running amok. And what do people do? They run over to a guy like Tommy Judas talking about Ethan having 3 boys urinate on his fucking face in some video that shouldn't even be in the possession of a lunatic like that. Making up fucking stories. What about what fucking Chief Fry did? What about what fucking this guy Payne did? Admitting that he knew the car was an 11 to 13 the whole time. Why aren't we attacking those people? Those are the people causing us the fucking problems. The tragedy is the murders. But the tragedy pimps don't want to pay attention to the process that's causing what appears to be is going to end up being either a dismissed or an unconvictable fucking accused. And we don't want to deal with that. We would rather talk about that's what the fuckery is what people want to talk about.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of these motherfuckers just want to get paid. and the fuckery is what sells.
But you could still, well, listen, it only sells because
We
nobody
fucking
is,
pay for it.
but
That's
we
it.
don't push the only things that matter and stick to it.
Right.
And it's hard not to get drawn into these fucking things. I myself am victim to it. I myself walk into some of these conspiracy thoughts. We're all we're all victims to it. But as a victim, we have the power to stop being victims. And that's why I was going after the creators. I don't give a fuck, okay, about the DNA. If everything before the DNA is provably wrong and or a fucking up and up lie, then how could you believe that they can interpret 8 fucking microscopic pieces of skin? How could they have that kind of level of expertise, but not understand or acknowledge that Brian Koberger's car wasn't at that house? They knew that. And they still call it suspect vehicle 1. Brian Koberger drove in that car. Them same people are in charge of determining what 8 microscopic skin cells mean. Man, I wouldn't let them fuckers tie my shoe. Would you?
No. I wouldn't want them I wouldn't want them anywhere fucking near me. I'm sorry, but no. Hell no.
Look at the Karen Reed case. The guy looks right at the jury and says, we were nowhere near that right-hand taillight. While an inverted video image is on a screen that he knows is inverted, that puts him behind the right-hand taillight. But on the screen, it shows him at the left-hand taillight.
And in the case of a missing kid, you got a crazy fucking cunt walking around in circles and sitting in fucking parking lots sharing months of fucking text messages back and forth with a fucking LARPing ass fucking dog handler, all the while sitting on her channel accusing the fucking parents, the mom and stepdad, of doing something with this kid. And it's fucking insanity. This fucking world is crazy as hell, Sark. It's crazy as hell. It is crazy as hell.
Is it? But it is. I say it's everybody is avoiding reality.
I agree. It's a fucking escape. Like, the worst thing they ever did was make smart TVs. I thought it was the internet, but I think maybe the worst thing, or I won't say the worst thing they ever did, but what's contributed a ton is the television, the smart TV. Because not only can you watch this shit on a phone or a tablet, but now you can get it on the big screen. And you can sit back and relax and interact through the fucking TV.
Here's why I say true crime mirrors fucking politics. And all you fuckers and all you fuckers out here in my audience that hear this, let me just tell you, you're all fucked up because of this. You act like you don't want to hear about fucking politics, but you come into true crime and you behave even worse than the political cunts. You know how fucked up these cases they are, and how fucked up the authorities are, and how fucking out and out criminal the shit they're doing against fellow citizens. And what do you want to talk about? Everything but that. Everything but that. You know without a fucking doubt, for example, that the Ukrainian war was started by the West, specifically the Obama administration in 2014. That war started by us. You don't want to talk about that. That's political. You know, Brian Koberger's case, the accusations in the PCA are all fake. And what do you rest on? Well, it's only Exhibit A. Well, let me tell you what exhibit you're not seeing, you sick bastard. You're not seeing a description of the crime scene, pictures of blood spatter. You're not seeing ripping fucking wounds and dead bodies. You're not seeing the disarrangement of the fucking room. You're not seeing the fucking video of the staircase. You're not seeing any of the fucking specifics of the crime. That's what you're not seeing. There isn't some secret fucking evidence in the locker somewhere that they're going to pull out and prove Brian did it. If they had that fucking shit, why are they lying in the PCA? This is people are like, they don't think past their own fucking nose. Let's not look at reality. Let's go. That's why I fucking smoked crack 30 years ago, folks, because I couldn't accept reality. You guys are worse. You act like you accept fucking reality, and then you do the exact opposite. Yep. I'd have more respect for you if you were on drugs. I can understand why you're doing drugs. The world is fucked up. But you're the fucked up world people on drugs are running from. How do you like that shit? Today, you want to go after and make fun of junkies. Well, they're trying to avoid people like you. For fuck's sakes. Please quit laughing. Am I wrong?
Fuck no. That's why it's so fucking funny. Because it's so
crazy.
fucking true. Like, you have no idea how many times in the past 7 days I'm like, I swear to God, if things get any fucking crazier, I'm going back to fucking weed. Like, I swear I'm about to go plant some right now. I'm about to start smoking fucking weed again if this shit gets any fucking crazy. What
Barbie,
a
does
fucking
somebody
world.
look at
we
Barbie says some of us woke up many years ago. No, you didn't. No, you're not out here pushing people to stick with the reality and the facts of these issues that come forward. You're not. You're participating in streams like Drip Drop with fucking tunnels, right? Tommy Jude and a whole bunch of other streamers like that are telling you fucking stories, Banfields and cell phones and pictures and fuck. What about the malfeasance of the fucking system that you employ to protect you? Why don't we ever address that? Ever. Unless it happens to your kid. Oh, we jump and we run down these fucking conspiracy roads. That's why they call us conspiracy theorists. Well, the earth is fucking flat. Shut the fuck up. It's round. Okay. Leave it alone. Who gives a fuck? Right? Launch your own fucking satellite. Bring some evidence that you actually can show us and verify is true to show me. Otherwise, I don't want to talk about it. Bigfoot, fucking UFOs. Holy fuck, Cletus. And they wonder why people want to avoid society. Why do you think drug addicts do drugs, folks?
Look, motherfucker, you've been talking for 15 minutes. Let me say something.
We only been here 21, Nick.
There is a request in chat from Toes, also known as Ball Smacker. Wanted me to say Ball Smacker. So there we go.
That's it?
That's it.
You hear me up for drama?
There wasn't drama. That was a fucking request from the audience.
Ball smacking?
Yeah. You don't have any fucking idea who that is. But it's somebody that used to come in under a different name. And the first time I saw it, I thought it was Ball Smacker. Like balls smacker. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, here's another thing too I noticed in my comments today in that particular video. Is there's specifically one person that's got all kinds of different names that are similar. So you know who the person is. And they come in and they just say random shit to try to get under your fucking skin.
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact. Look, when Brett Payne tells you the car in the video is an 11 to 13, he tells you this. He's the guy that wrote the PCA. Right? Okay. So let me ask you, Cletus. If the police officer that wrote the PCA that tells you suspect vehicle 1 is Brian Koberger and then gets on the stand and tells you the car at the crime scene is 11 to 13, is that Brian Koberger's car, Cletus?
Say that one more time.
So the cop that wrote the PCA that says suspect vehicle 1, and he lists out all the movements this car made and parked and then drove away fast at 4:20 a.m. That guy's telling you that's Brian Koberger.
Mm-hmm.
Then you find out that it really is a 2011 to 2013. So my question is Brian Koberger somehow in that fucking car?
We have no fucking idea.
Well, we know Brian Koberger's car wasn't at the house.
We know that wasn't his car.
Okay. All right. So here's the point. Why the fuck is the PCA in stating that it is him driving around in that car?
Because that's who they wanted it to fucking be.
Right. Well, here's the thing. If you're an idiot on the internet, like this person that has different names and are all similar and his name is Jeff H. He's a fucking idiot, this guy. I can't stand the guy because of this. He says I'm telling the same stories as the streamers, making up stories about the fucking videos. And I can't get my head around that. You mean to tell me that when a cop says suspect vehicle 1 did all of this stuff, identified suspect vehicle 1 as belonging to Koberger, and then reluctantly admits the video shows an 11 to 13 making those same movements? Which is telling me that's not Koberger's car. Am I crazy? Or is that fucking Jeff H. need a fucking smack in the back of his head?
No, I think a lot of people have got to wake up to shit and get away from the deprogram, right? Deprogram. Well, I'm not going to say that it can't be done, or I wouldn't fucking be on this. I wouldn't be on this fucking.
Well, no,
platform.
Some people like that won't deprogram because they get their dick hard because they like to get under people's skin.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Right.
I do completely.
And so you could say a fact like The fact is, the car in the video that did the 3-point turn, the car that took off at a high rate of speed is an 11 to 13 Hyundai Elantra. There is no question about that now. None. So how the fuck could that be Brian Koberger when he drives a 2015? Well, it can't be. End of story. That discussion should be over. That's not a theory. I'm not creating a fucking story out of thin air. This is from the cop's own mouth. How is that a fucking theory? It's just crazy, man.
No, I mean, when it's stated and it's right there in black and fucking white, it's not really an opinion or a theory. It's a fucking fact. If the shit don't add up, it don't fucking add up.
And this person keeps. Here's another. Let me just say something, folks. And I don't care who this applies to. That wasn't it, but I'm going to continue. If you have to have multiple fucking accounts on here so that you could reply to people that don't want nothing to do with you, you really need some fucking mental help. You really do.
Amen.
Okay? There's something the fuck wrong with you. If you think what you have to say is so important that you have to create multiple accounts to get your message across that nobody wants to hear, that's why you have to keep opening up fucking accounts. You need to smoke fucking drugs. You need to be an addict. You would find more fucking reward in being a fucking drag out fucking addict than you would doing what you're doing. I promise you that. That's insanity. That makes no fucking sense. If anybody doesn't want anything to do with me, that's it. I got one name on YouTube, one name on Twitter. They both connect. All my accounts connect. I put them up here. I stream across them. I would never come up here under an assumed name to make a comment at somebody I don't like. I just wouldn't. To me, that isn't human. It's got nothing to do with even being a man or a woman. There's no humanity in doing that. It's so demeaning to yourself. It's like, don't you have any self-respect? What the fuck?
No, the answer is no. If the fucking best that you can do is create fucking multiple accounts just so you can go tell somebody go fuck your mother or whatever because they've blocked you on your other 12 fucking accounts, you have no self-respect. Like, that is the definition of no self-respect.
No, that's psychosis.
Like, that is what it is. You ought to be sitting around fucking drinking fruit-flavored soda and talking on the internet.
I didn't even. I removed that fucking person. You fucking dick. I removed that person's comment from my fucking video because 12 people started commenting against him, and I don't want that fucking guy to have any content on my fucking stuff. So I removed his comment, but I don't remove him from being fucking held to being pointed to going after him and telling him, be the asshole you always are. You always will be. Nothing will change. I'm fucking go ahead, bro, but not around me. I don't engage with people like that. His whole purpose in life is to needle people in a way that, he comes off as he's Mr. Religion. He's Mr. Nice Guy. It's a fucking act. He's a left-wing cunt that no matter what the government says, he's going to suck their fucking balls and keep rubbing it in your fucking face. No matter what criminality the government does, he's going to take their fucking side and try to get you to gag on it. And he's going to do it in a way that makes him look above it all and polite and so worrisome of others. Listen, if I could reach through the internet, I'd grab that fuck by his hair and slam his face into his keyboard so fucking hard he'd have no face left. I hate two-faced motherfuckers like that. That's just sick the way this guy is. And there's many out there like that. But he's the one that seems to want to follow me around. And he can go fuck himself. He probably can't do that either because his head's in the way. You know? You have your bullhorn Betty. And I have this jerk off following me around. I don't need to be bothered. Right?
Yeah. Bullhorn Betty does not even compare. Bullhorn Betty's just she's just a rabid fucking lunatic. Like, that's just like she has true fucking mental issues, in my opinion. For real.
And I want to be clear, folks. Not these exact words, but words very similar to it that you can imagine how I talk, right? Were said directly to him by me. Period. End of story. That's how you're supposed to deal with one another. You don't like somebody, name the nature of your dislike and tell them to go fuck themselves and move on with your life. Next. And that's how and this person won't stop following me around and trying to post or get into the stream under a different name or get into when I do a Me Too fucking a message too. They can't help but get in there and start talking.
Well, how does that song go? It must have been love.
All right, co-host, give us some fucking content.
Give us some content. Well, I don't know. I'm still fucking decompressing over the past few days. I'm I don't know, man. My brain is fucking fried. My brain is fucking fried. It's just beyond me how many times today, because today has sort of been the day of sort of unwinding or wrapping it up, I should say, wrapping up the fucking ball of fuckery that's been going on. And you know how many fucking times the shit we have talked about has gone through my head today. At the end of the fucking day, it's the 5.62 billion motherfuckers in the world, every one of us, you and I included, that are fucking everything up for ourselves. And we gotta fucking quit. We gotta stop doing it. We gotta stop when a fucking person comes in and says, "Hey, I'm a dog handler and I'm military and I've got a dog and I'm coming to fucking Tennessee." Okay, great. Shut the fuck up and go the fuck away until your ass comes to Tennessee. And when you come to Tennessee, give us updates on what the fuck you searched for. Don't show us a goddamn thing. But do that, get the fuck off the internet and go the fuck away. Give us our updates on the things that we care about and move the fuck along.
Yeah, you can't get that on any of these cases. I mean, the Karen Reed case is a clusterfuck beyond the enormity of the clusterfuck. There is shocking to me. The jury did make some statements. They were unanimous on 2 of the 3 counts and not guilty. And then they were split 8-4 on one of the counts, which indicated like vehicular homicide or something, which is just beyond my understanding. And I say the reason that they're hung on that is because the defense attorney in his closing didn't drive home the point that without a red lens, the back of that vehicle would be as bright as the sun in the color white. Anytime that light, the running lights were turned on, headlights were turned on, or the brake pedal was touched, the back of that SUV on the right side would be a bright white. And he never said that when it's closing. And that to me is the big problem, the big issue here. Because if you're going to argue about anything on taillights being damaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
The chunks that they showed as evidence are the reflective lens that turns the white light red. And without it, it's white. And I think a lot of people just don't have that understanding of how a taillight works. Believe it or not, I bet you more people don't than do. Right?
Yeah.
It's a red light. You put on the brake, the red light turns on. The third light is red. The brake lights, they're red. The running lights, they're red. The reverse light, well, that's white. But they don't notice that the plastic is white. They're not that observant. They don't really think of things in that kind of complexity. And it's a simple fucking point. It's so simple that people don't even give it a second fucking thought. Right? What's the paint made of that they put on roads? Well, who the fuck cares? Right? It's one of those kinds of things. And so it's so simple that who would give it a second thought? So for a juror not to know that would not be a surprise to me. But more importantly, for the defense counsel not to make that a big issue, I think is why there was a hung jury.
Well, and speaking of that case, I've seen that there's now allegedly jurors speaking out, and this is something that I would be very fucking curious about. Before these jurors have spoken out, or let me say this, before anybody has given anything that these alleged jurors that are speaking out, before they've opened their mouth and anybody's consumed anything that they've said, has anybody fucking asked, show me proof that you were a juror in this case?
Huh. Is Jeff? Can you see Jeff H in that room? Because if he is, you got to ban that motherfucker, boot him out. Fuck that piece of shit. The only value that guy has is to the scumbaggery that he lives with in his head. Fuck out of my stream. I blocked him. But if you can see him in that chat room, Clue, you're the moderator, get that fucker out of here and block him.
She got it.
Fuck that piece of shit. I wouldn't wipe my ass with that motherfucker. And I don't care what any of you out here think about him. He could go fuck himself with that pretend fucking religious fucking superiority complex he has. Fuck that piece of shit. Okay, I'm sorry, Clayton.
No, you're good. I just that I don't know, this past few days have really fucking made me think about that and really. Well, I did it yesterday. We were on a panel, and this fucking whack a fucking nut come out of the fucking left field in regards to the fake fucking dog handler we were talking about, and she's automatically going to vouch for her. And everybody's like, "Oh, okay, cool. So you know her, you're going to vouch for her." Well, and then she sends a fucking email, and I'm like, "Why are we entertaining anything?"
Hey, wait a second. Toes, get the ban Toes. Kick that piece of shit out of here too. Fuck you, Toes. Kick him out. I don't give a fuck who it is. Who's ever your moderating clue, ban that motherfucker. The fuck out of here. You people think I'm here for your entertainment, you stupid cocksuckers. I'm here to educate you to your ignorance. You fuck. Get him out of here. Go ahead, Cletus.
I don't know what the fuck was said, but anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, back to normal. Go ahead.
So we had the situation where we're talking about this fake fucking dog handler, right? Well, she ain't a fake dog handler. She's a real fucking dog handler, but she's not doing fuck all in this case with Sebastian other than creating fucking bullshit and participating in fuckery. So we're having this discussion, sort of putting out all the shit that she's done, trying to identify just how deep it fucking runs. And lo and behold, here comes this third party fucking wackadoodle into the fucking mix. And she's all, well, I know her. I can vouch for her. She's 100% legit. And then she sends a fucking email to the person hosting the fucking show that are hosting the panel that we're all talking on. And this host proceeds to start, well, let me pull up your email. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Why are we entertaining anything this bitch has got to say? We know nothing about her. I have no fucking idea who she is. She hasn't even turned her fucking camera on. Why do you give a fuck? Boot that fucking bitch off of this panel or make her show what the fuck it is that legitimizes her, because otherwise there's no value except more fucking drama. And that's exactly what the fuck it did. And it's like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the viewers have got to demand better, but also the creators have got to stop entertaining these third-party fucktards out here fucking injecting themselves into situations that don't fucking involve them. If you haven't nothing to contribute, stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah. And look, I'm not out here to be, I don't, you people, Clue and Cletus are friends through the internet. But they're, I mean, right? That's how we know each other. That's how we interact. And we know a lot about one another. We respect each other. We get along. That's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
We disagree on certain points, but that's fine too.
Yeah.
There's no hate there. It just is what it is. But usually the points we disagree on are points that we either have a similar thought about that or like completely different thoughts, but we accept your perspective and you'll accept mine. That's fine. Yeah. And for people, I want all of you people that don't like me, because I tell you, you're all a bunch of fucking assholes. Okay? To move on. Say your piece. Make a rude comment in the fucking chat room so I know who to ban. Because I'm not here for your fucking money. I got more money than all you in that chat room. Don't need your money. Ain't here for your money. It's a true crime. I'm here for justice. Justice for Karen Reed. Justice for the victims. Justice for fucking the 4 people in Idaho. And the fucking cops that are fucking it all up for us and fucking it all up for the families. I want the people that did that in jail. I don't want some fucking fake story that a PCA used to arrest a fellow American. I've been on the end of being falsely arrested. I know what it is. That shit needs to stop, and we all need to focus on that. We need not give any fucking buddy a quarter. Nothing. You don't give an inch when the people that represent your justice in this country are fucking it up. Those are the people you need to go after. Not the Banfield boys, not the frats, not the drug dealers, not the fucking the barbecue fucking grill at a corner. Leave that shit alone. When you clearly see what the police have done in these cases, they're your target. Okay? Non-violent, non-harassing, but those are the people that need to be called out. Those are the people that need to answer for their actions. And instead, we got to bring up mythical fucking people. You got to bring up mythical fucking dog fucking handlers and mythical fucking third-party people that support, like you just pointed out, some dog handler.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah,
it's quite incredible.
It is.
That statement too. Sebastian's missing. We are no closer to finding that boy than we were the day he went missing. Is that fair?
That's fair.
You guys have invested thousands of dollars in billboards to try to get tips.
Well, the community has, right? That's
right.
The community has invested all that money. And it's, yeah, I mean, it literally, it's become a distraction for fucking money, right? Like, you got people going after people for fucking everything, and none of it is about fucking finding the kid. Not a fucking ounce of it.
If there was something written in a document that's been presented to the court or testified to under oath that said that the 11 to 13 vehicle was the vehicle used by Koberger to be dropped off to the crime scene, I wouldn't have an issue. If, in other words, your documents have told us, not me, us, that the car that went around that house belonged to Brian Koberger. Isn't that fair? Isn't that correct, Cletus?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've lied to me for how long? 19 months?
Yeah, I guess it has been that long.
Yeah. You didn't say he was dropped off. You didn't say there was a driver. You didn't say he borrowed another car. You didn't say any of that. You said that suspect vehicle 1 belongs to Brian Christopher Koberger, and he owns a 15. And your video shows an 11 to 13. So you've been lying to me the whole time. I got a fucking problem with that. And anybody that doesn't want to see that as a problem, or anybody that doesn't want to see that, and to me, there's no other way to view that, is there? Or am I fucking crazy?
No, there's no other way to view that. There is no fucking other way to view that at all.
Right? You knew the whole time. This is what's the fuckery of it all. The cops knew that when they were writing the warrants. When they went to the judge and told the judge that, they knew that wasn't Brian Koberger. And you mean to tell me that it's okay for the police to do this to a citizen?
No, but let me tell you where the pacification and the hiding of the delaying of the problem, the sleight of hand moment comes in. When you question it, it's, oh, well, it'll all make sense. It'll all come out at trial. But then the trial happens, and then it all goes the fuck away. Nothing ever goes beyond that, right? Just like Karen Reed. Karen, she's a fuck. It's a hung jury, right? Isn't that what you said? It's a hung jury.
2 out of 3 charges were hung, and only one of the charges were hung, 8-4.
And within the next 30 days, the entire fucking case will be a thing of the past.
If even then, it'll die off. Like Sebastian, right. Sebastian, the issue of the boy missing. Like I don't know. Has anybody even tried to talk or get any word out of the families, or anybody? Have people in the school been questioned? Has this investigation gone beyond just a runaway? We don't even know if it has.
That's horrific. We don't know really much of fucking anything, right? I mean, what's in the TBI press releases it pretty much wraps it up, right? In terms of what we know as fact. Anyway, in terms of the investigation itself, we know that they're investigating, and we don't know what they're doing to investigate. We know they searched. We know they're investigating. And we also know that, again, I think it was the last press release, out of 3 paragraphs, one of them was dedicated to the fuckery that's getting played out on fucking line. And I highly suspect if they do another one, it'll be the same fucking thing. They're going to, I would hope, I would truly hope that in this situation, considering the level of bullshit that's going on, if they do another press release, they address the internet.
Yeah, the internet. And the funny thing is, and this is the part that I guess, if there's anything I'm upset about, or that you could claim that I'm angry about, it's that we have at our fingertips the capacity to make things right. And what do? We avoid it. We hide from it. We bury our fucking head in the sand. We want to talk about other things related to the parents, not focus on trying to find the young man and staying concerned with the facts, as limited as they are. We got to extrapolate and theorize and conspiracy theory everything. And then get off of the fucking issue, which is where they always get off, right? To me, the issue in all of these cases, except that case, like I didn't have an issue with the Idaho or with the Kansas City 3. I viewed that and said that the police and everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do. Remember, right? That we didn't even stream on it yet. And we had concluded it appeared to be a nefarious act from fentanyl. We did that on Discord together before it ever became this big public discussion. And I'm not trying to say that we were right, but it was that the information given to us, the way we observed it, ended up being correct. We didn't impugn the police or the hospital or any other professional. We didn't accuse the survivor of being the killer. We didn't do any of that.
Well, and
Right.
at the end of the day, I think for me to kind of sum up my thoughts on shit, it's really the past week has really fucking been a huge eye opener for me in terms of just the level of fucking depravity that exists, right? But at the end of
Right.
the day, what I have seen is that it's all manufactured fucking distraction. I don't give a fuck what your motive is for the distraction. I don't fucking care. What it's shown me is the ability for every one of us to flock to that fucking distraction like a fucking moth to a damn bug zapper. Like we will fly right at that son of a bitch, right?
Yep.
Because it is an escape from the harsh reality of what's really fucking going on. And what ultimately what I'm getting at is fucking T-Rev. That little fucking sawed off son of a bitch has been proven to be nothing but a fucking fraud and a distraction in so many fucking cases. That motherfucker has done some of the most egregious shit in
Right.
true crime and missing people and fucking you name it. And that motherfucker has been at the fucking bottom of so fucking much. And within the next week, people will have forgotten about it.
Right.
He's sitting in the background right now, waiting for the fucking smoke to settle, so that he can fucking come back out and try to make more money. And it's like at the end of the day, we all need to just remember that shit happened. Never fucking let it fucking be forgotten. But also don't forget that he's not the only one. He's a drop in the motherfucking bucket of the bullshit that goes on. And we're all guilty of letting ourselves just feed into the distractions that motherfuckers like him will create.
Right. And that's why I have such a disgust for a guy like Jeff. I have an absolute disgust for anyone that behaves like that. It's just filthy. You have no fucking humanity to be that way. There's something fucking wrong with you. And then you go out here and pretend you're this religious fucking guy that cares about. You don't care about nothing but your own fucking rocks. You fucking twit. Here's a comment. It all makes sense the moment before they speculated that the car would be a petri dish, but they didn't speculate that. The streamers and the media made that speculation, not the cops. Could you imagine? This is what I don't understand. This is the corruption on a level that is not corruption on a casual observation. But imagine being Brett Payne, and you're hearing these stories about the car is going to be a petri dish of evidence, but you fucking know it ain't Kohlberger's car. Imagine having to be that guy. I don't know how the fuck a guy can live with himself like that. That's what I mean about people like Jeff. There's a great example in the Idaho4. You're the cop that wrote in the PCA. That was Kohlberger's car. It's in the warrant for Pennsylvania. Suspect vehicle 1, Brian Christopher Kohlberger. And you fucking knew it was at 11 to 13. Holy shit. Cletus, could you live with yourself and do things like that?
I would resign. I wouldn't fucking do it. Like that's the thing that I've looked at. Not necessarily since day one, but pretty soon thereafter, I'm looking at this PCA and I'm going, I don't understand how this is any different than a theory that anybody else out here could have fucking put together. Right. It's a theory. And then I look at, and I think back and I reflect back on this whole situation. And you want to talk about corruption. How about the possibility that PCA was written exactly as it fucking was, knowing that they have nothing, but then seeing the public reaction? Because I still go back and I say, how quick was it after he was arrested that the whole incel concept came out? And where did it originate and why? There's been absolutely nothing to fucking support that bullshit. Nope. But it sure would play into pushing a narrative they need to push with that PCA. Could they have absolutely fed the fucking public to see what they could trigger on to get everybody behind? Let's not look at the PCA. Let's look at the bullshit that we'll all fucking distract ourselves with and get consumed in.
Well, here's an example of it on the screen. I guess you've seen the 1112 King Road light bulb camera. By the way, it's Queen Road, connected to King Road. Just be aware. Everybody's getting that wrong. But let me get to the fact. You talk like you have all the puzzle pieces. Listen, black SUV driver. When the fucking guy named Brett Payne, who wrote the fucking PCA for a warrant to arrest and charge a man with a quadruple fucking murder, okay, admits on the stand that the video of the car around that house is an 11 to 13 Hyundai Elantra when he fucking admits it. As I've argued the whole time, that's always what I said that car was going to turn out to be, because the FBI don't get shit like that wrong. No matter how corrupt police departments are, they are skilled in certain things. And when he comes out and tells you that it was an 11 to 13 in the video around the crime scene, he's telling you it's not Koberger's car. Is he not telling you that? Or do you have some fucking scientific analysis that I'm too ignorant to understand, that when a guy tells you the car at the crime scene is 11 to 13 and the accused owns a 15, somehow you have some power of science that makes those cars the fucking same? Can you explain that to us? No, I don't understand Payne to have said that. He fucking said it. And then Ann said, I still don't have the video of that 11 to 13 Elantra going around that house. They still haven't given us that video. She's been asking for it ever since this started. It's not that I understood him to say it. That's what the man said. Holy shit. How about you go to a court and you give him the statement, okay? Well, Detective John, you just earned your fucking one-way ticket to go fuck your mother. Because I guess maybe reproducing another one like you is in the interest of all the other 5.62 billion assholes. Anyway, so in the PCA, they say he turned off his phone, he put it in airplane mode, or it disconnected from the network, right? Now, if I'm gonna arrest you, Cletus, wouldn't it be fair to say that you should have narrowed that down? Because that, in fact, could happen to any fucking phone from anybody, anywhere. Those three possibilities. But if you're going to charge me with 4 homicides, don't you think you should know, or at least have a fact to say he turned his phone off?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you supposed to have a fact that his car was actually at that property? Shouldn't that fact be included?
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be right?
It should not be a series of this or that, or this or that, right? It shouldn't be a choose your own adventure book. It just shouldn't.
Right. And I agree, Twizzle. There should be more than those 3. I'm not saying that, but there should be no options.
Right.
They should bring a fact to the court, a fact the court can hang its hat on. We have a video of Brian Koberger crossing the yard, crossing the driveway, walking down the sidewalk. We have a video of Brian Koberger 850 feet away in a different parking lot. Anything like that is, to me, a fact, right? Mm-hmm. There's not only a lack of facts, but the information that they gave the judge as facts is all false. That's a problem. That's what we should be paying attention to, not the Banfield.
They won't clarify where Zena and Ethan were.
What's that?
I said that's a good point too that Echo's made, that they've never clarified where Zena and Ethan were.
Right. But in the arrest charges against Brian, there isn't a single fact that's supportable by evidence. Nothing. There's options. They tell you he drove in that area 12 times. Well, am I mistaken, or didn't the prosecutor and the judge both say that he was not stalking them?
Yes.
Okay. Did they not say that the 12 trips were similar? Sorry?
I think they even say that in the PCA, they kind of negate that stalking claim, because they say that the students travel back and forth from Pullman and Moscow all the time.
And they have also stated one of the times they pulled him the fuck over, and the intersection they pulled him over is in front of one of like 3 fucking grocery stores in the Pullman and Moscow area that have vegan options. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's more facts that support a completely alternate theory as to why he was in the area 12 times than fucking stalking.
Yeah. Well, they admit that the 12 previous trips were consistent, that the travels were similar 12 separate times, including the night of the murder. So the 13th time. Then they also go on to say that on one of those previous trips, his phone didn't report to the network. And I said, when I read that, day one, there's the exculpatory evidence. The witnesses that Brian wasn't at that house are the assholes that put that in the document. The very cops that came to those statements, that came to the idea to write that down, are his witnesses. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because they can't place him there. by that information. His phone was off for 2 hours, folks. Nobody knows where he is but him. And there's no evidence to put him at the house. As a matter of fact, the idea you got him on video, you've already admitted, is inaccurate. It's 11 to 13 Elantra on the video. So it's just so frustrating that people don't go after the police and the prosecutors and the investigators and start doing a dirt dive on them people. Clue?
Even if they want to try to use his cell phone, they say themselves in the PCA, his phone connected to that tower on the 14th, but they don't even think he was in the area. Like, what?
I know. It's like, what the fuck are these people doing? And we're giving them a free pass so people like fucking Jeff H can come in here and irritate us. And then all these streamers can get all these clicks and make all this money and gain all these subscribers by telling you fucking stories about this one did it, that one did it. There's fucking tunnels. There's a guy in a parachute. There's fucking people urinating on him. There's people watching it on their cell phone. How about when she said she had 400 witnesses to interview, and right away, Hoot of London and others start saying, look, they all watched it on the cell phone.
Oh my God, that was so crazy. Jesus fucking Christ.
How could 400 people watch that fucking homicide of that multiple crazy on their cell phones and not anybody have the conscience to speak up?
That's what I'm saying. How bad do you think that people are in this world? Now, after this one case we're looking at right now, I could say I think that the majority of people are evil as hell, but 400 kids, that some of them undoubtedly friends with at least one of, if not more than one of the victims, and none of y'all said a damn thing.
And people, you're right, Twizzlestick. They keep saying he went to the crime scene the next day, but the cops clarified that's not true. They know he was in a different area. And here's what I'm saying, I guess, is that all of these contradictory statements and unverifiable pieces of information they use to arrest this man are the problem. Of course, the original crime is a horrific problem. But the people that are in paid positions to provide justice and protection for our communities fuck this case up in a way that's just unimaginable. Those are the people that need to be rained on. They need the black cloud over them. They've done it in previous cases. They did it in Stickergate. The state police were involved and others were involved that are on the Koberger case, with the doctor being accused of killing a fellow doctor, chiropractor, whatever the fuck they were. And what do we pay attention to, folks? Look at this video, says fucking, what's her name there? That fucking central scrutinizer broad. And even Harsh Reality going off with the Aryan Nation. They use knives to make a statement. Okay. But where the fuck is the Aryan Nation connected to this case? How do you connect them other than by some conspiracy idea? Meanwhile, you give Brett Payne a pass? You give the guy that brought a cast report to a grand jury to indict a fellow citizen, he brought a screenshot? None of the scientific analysis that he claims he did? Who didn't then save that scientific analysis? He didn't even save it. And that's okay with you folks? I don't get it, bro. It's just infuriating. It's almost like there's someone over there smashing us all in the fucking foot with a hammer, and we want to talk about the screwdriver on the shelf behind him. Clay?
Yeah. Oh Lord. So
we live in such a crazy fucking time, and we're so
it
surrounded.
is. It's a crazy time. We're in the information age, and there is absolutely no fucking information.
But there is. That's the weird part. Is all of the truth is there, and everybody wants to avoid
there's no information being shared. Right?
Oh,
we're all fucking. We're all just eating shit, regurgitating it, and eating it again. We're like a pack of fucking dogs.
Well, and we're eating at the edges of shit rather than getting over the shit and going into the field and eating the fucking crops. Right?
Yeah.
There's all the healthy food right there. It's just on the other side of that pile of shit you're nibbling on. And you're too lazy to walk around the pile of shit and grab yourself some fucking food. Cletus, I'm not going to hang up on you. I'm probably going to ramble on for a little while longer, but I do know you have your hour limitations with the whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump. So you,
Hey, be good. There was Twizzle out there. Twizzle, I told you come on up here, and then so far you haven't. Listen, I don't need to be cheerleader for it, folks. I am definitely a fucked up dude. I'm a very passionate fucked up dude that just has a hard time trying to wrap my head around the fucking bullshit. I mean, I enjoy these cases. I enjoy learning things. I enjoy new experiences and stuff. But the power of this internet is so thorough that it's turned us all into a bunch of empty-headed clowns, right? And there's no evidence that Brian's sister reported him. There's no, there's no evidence being put forward. There he is. There's 12 gauge. There's Twiz. Look at that. We got a few people up in here. There's no evidence to support those lines of argument. That's where I kind of I don't know. What's up, 12?
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
Oh man, I've been feeling like crap today for some reason. I just got up from a nap.
Oh, well, better you than me. Twiz, how you doing?
I'm good.
You're not sick like 12 gauge?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So neither one of you had watched my clip earlier, right? My message too?
No.
Yeah. It's
Not yet.
not as radical as this here, the way I'm going on here, but I just
I watched a little bit of it, man.
The 12 gauge, you're okay. It's more than my co-host did. He watched nothing. You watched a little, which is definitely much better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to start looking into some of these people myself. I mean, and I want to know what the history of that town is, what these people are, where they came from, what it is that might be unique about them, what cases they've been involved with, if I can find out. Because this is just a misjustice, and it comes to Karen Reed, it comes to this. The Gilglow case, I haven't looked at, but you've brought up other missing kids that don't get any attention at all, that have got these mysterious circumstances around them. That doesn't get covered.
Yeah, of course, man.
Right?
Enough to piss you off, bro.
It's tragic because we have such a it's like all the winning lottery numbers are there, and everybody wants to talk about every number except the lottery numbers. Twiz?
Yeah, it is.
The lottery numbers?
I'm just giving an example, right? I mean, there they are, and nobody wants to talk about them or even use them. They want to talk about every number but.
Yeah.
Right?
This whole thing is just weird.
You did that analysis on the cast, and the cast is showing that Koberger wasn't at that house. Fair?
Well, it should, depending on how Nick Balance does it. But I think it will be in favor to Brian.
At the very
Hey,
least.
so choose up here on the panel. I can't see due to that big old banner in the way.
Me!
Is
this Twiz?
Yeah.
Hey, Twiz, what's up, bro?
Just chilling, man.
Hey, what'd you think about the live earlier?
It was good.
What was your
Were
live
you
on?
offended? Were you offended like 3 of my subs that left?
No, I don't get offended. I actually forget what we were talking about.
I was showing the cartel.
Oh, right. I came in late to that, so I don't know what we were talking about earlier, but the cartel stuff is interesting for sure.
What, in Idaho?
Yeah.
You know, a good angle for the cartel stuff, and I'm not going to say it's connected to the Idaho4, but every one of our colleges are surrounded by cartels. Literally surrounded. Those are territories owned by gangs.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And nobody talks about that. No, there's no doubt that that's true. Who is your customer? If you're going to sell ice cream, are you going to put your ice cream shop in a retirement village? They may be a good customer. It's probably a bad example. But you're selling drugs. You're not going to have retirement villages as your gang area, are you?
Probably not. At least compared to like a university where there's a bunch of young kids. And like even our parents are like, well, college is the time to experiment with drugs and shit. So,
you know, another case that got forgotten. Remember the guy that was found on the side of the road? He was a truck driver. Do You guys remember that? He was driving the route that actually the route is known for moving cartel drugs. Man, I forgot the name of that.
I don't remember that, man.
This guy he owned a small trucking company and he worked out of his house, and his wife and someone else had found him because he didn't come home. Or he went missing. His truck was found, but no hide nor hair of him. That's what it is. His truck was parked on the side of the road, going a way that he wouldn't normally be going to do his route. Okay. And he was just fucking gone, vanished. No sign of the guy. And he was on that route that moves through Idaho that moves cartel drugs.
Wow.
There's so many cases out there, folks, that are unsolved or unquestionably fucked up when it comes to the way they're being investigated. And I brought up that Brett Payne earlier. Can you imagine being that guy, Brett Payne, and knowing that information of the PCA is unverifiable and you going with it anyway? Maybe your superior is telling you. Maybe that's why they put that 2-year guy, Brett Payne, in charge. Just like they did to the Donna Reed case, where they took a crime scene investigator with 2 years of college that's new and put him in charge of determining what happened instead of the 2 people that have known by the state and been used by the state for dozens of years who claimed that wasn't a car accident. That the injuries weren't about a vehicle. So they didn't want those guys on the stand. They bring in some young kid that tells the story they want to tell. And that looks exactly like what happened here to Brett Payne.
I've wondered about that pretty much since we found out Brett Payne did it. 2 years of experience and you're the fall guy.
Not the fall guy. You're the lead investigator, apparently.
Well, I mean, like, they're going to use him as the fall guy in the end, right?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't fuck up. He just didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly.
And we don't hold any of them accountable. We, the public, aren't even discussing these guys and the actions. The actions in the Koberger case are egregious. The actions in the Karen Reed case are just off the hook. And everybody wants to was she was dismissed or blah blah blah. They're gonna have a new trial. They want to talk about the cop talking about her sexual appeal or her lack thereof. All the ancillary drama gets the attention, and not a single thing about what these police did in their investigation that just is unfucking excusable. That's what gets my hairs up on the back of my neck.
Because it keeps your mind off. I mean, it keeps your attention off the important stuff. If we're talking about all this other stuff, you don't see our incompetence or our lack of investigational skill. Just like you were talking about the Brady Giglio stuff.
Let the police do their job. Yeah, I agree with this. Don't let your kids become informants for the police. And they admit in Idaho that that's not an uncommon thing for them to do. Does that have anything to do with the Idaho4 case? It may or may not. There's no way to know. But the simple fact that information is available is something people should pay attention to. It should be common knowledge. We should be talking about that. Why it's not a good idea. Why, if you make a mistake, you're all going to make mistakes when you're young. We're all going to do things and make bad choices. We're going to experiment with things we probably shouldn't. But isn't that what youth is all about? So you're better off taking your lumps than you are trying to get yourself involved around dangerous people, because who do police deal with? Dangerous people, right?
Right.
So
sometimes. I bet in Moscow they don't have like super dangerous people most of the time,
No, most people on Earth aren't even dangerous. Most of us aren't. But the problem is we don't know how to address the dangers that are being heaped in our lap. We want to avoid them like they don't exist. Listen, if Brian Koberger did this, I am not objecting to proving that this man committed these crimes. I have no problem with that. But don't feed me a fucking shit sandwich and tell me it's a fucking steak. I can't go down that road with you.
Will you take A1 with that?
A little salt and pepper, please.
Yeah.
No, so that's what we should be looking at. Now, in cases where the evidence is incontrovertible, there are excellent cases to discuss and review and see what the police did and see how they came to these conclusions. You know what I mean? How they came up with this. It's interesting to see when the system works properly. Just as I'd rather see that case after case after case. But in the year that I've been here, at least half or more of the cases had been run away with ineptness, ineptitude, and actually what looks to me like corruption by the police.
It seems to be getting worse, you know?
And it's worse because we don't pay attention to it. Does that seem like a fair comment?
It does.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say everybody don't pay attention. I think there's plenty of people that pay attention. They just get their voices get unheard
no
over
airtime.
masses of people defending different things other than the topics you're talking about, you know?
And most of us don't disagree when we say there's a lot of corruption in our society when it comes to law enforcement and politics, but then we don't want to focus in on it and discuss it, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's like getting a flat tire and talking about all the good tires on the car. What do you think, Twitch?
Good analogy, man.
It's just crazy. I want to understand Brett Payne. I want to understand how it is that they came up with this data and they interpreted it the way they did. Was there pressure from the outside? Was it just inexperience, excitement? Was it tunnel vision? I don't understand. I wouldn't have the balls.
Pressure. I believe there was a lot of pressure from the university, seeing that they were having weekly briefings. And, you know, I'm sure that they were just pressuring the shit out of the police. When are you going to find someone? When are you going to find somebody? Who you got? Who you got? What do you got? What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know that there's any way to prove that, Olivia. I don't accept that at all. And I can't even think that as being a possibility because there's no way to make that connection. The FBI is hiding from the cops. And every motion she files with any information that's supposed to come from the feds, it's being denied. The feds aren't turning over. They got to go to a Thule hearing over this. And the feds have the right not to turn it over, of all bullshit. What kind of a law is that?
If they don't turn it over, though, they can't use it in the trial.
No, that's true, though. But you used it to indict the guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cy said, like, the FBI cast report. Payne said they had the cast report or a draft or whatever. But Cy was saying that that's not an actual draft. He thinks he just saw, like, a map that the guy made.
Right.
Which makes sense to me. So I think Payne just didn't know what he was talking about.
You know, it's look, if the cast report can locate this kid at the house, then I'm all for it. I don't care about his car. Then that car doesn't matter to me. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
I still object to the fact that they used it to describe his movements that night, that they ascribed that vehicle's movements to Mr. Koberger. Unequivocally, that's what they did. I'm not okay with that. You knew by the FBI's description of the vehicle that it wasn't and could never have been. Therefore, you also knew that when you searched Koberger's car, it couldn't have found any evidence in it. What other better way to explain the lack of any evidence in his car than the simple fact that the car at the crime scene was 11 to 13?
Yep.
Right? It's like, duh. Really? Really? The car that you were looking for is fucking green? And he owned a gray car? And you didn't find anything in the gray car because you didn't look in the green car? Oh, boy. It's that stupid. It's like, you got to be retarded, bro. Why would you even have searched his car? I wonder how much effort they even put into it. A show and tell effort, I suspect, because they knew they weren't going to find anything in the 2015. There's no evidence it was at the house, right? Oy.
Nope.
And poor Karen Reed with a hung jury, and they didn't fill the questionnaire out properly either, the report to the court, but they did agree on 2 of the 3 charges as not guilty.
Right.
And even on that, I don't even know, man. I would be taking that court testimony by those fucking cops and the state's witnesses, and I'd be telling my lawyer right away, you need to bring civil suit against these people. There's no way that this should be allowed, and somebody should be pushing for that one cop that blatantly lied to the jury and said that they were nowhere near the right-hand rear taillight, while that manipulated video was on the screen behind him, showing him on the driver's side, right? That guy should be charged with a crime. He shouldn't be
Hell
suspended.
yeah, he should.
That guy should be charged with perjury. He knew that video was inverted. He fucking knew it. He admitted it under cross-examination. Why is he not going to jail? If you or I did that, are you kidding me? We could be responsible for anything they said. They could make up a crime. We could have committed a crime on the dark side of the moon. We'd be, after that kind of performance on a jury, who wouldn't believe that you did something on the dark side of the moon, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But can you imagine the car pulls in, the driver gets out of the passenger side, right? And the cops are standing on the driver's side and the rear left side of the vehicle in this video. So do we live in England? Or do we have right-hand drive cars? I don't get it. How is that video not so obviously inverted? Just that alone. Forget the fact that the number on the door is backwards. Forget the fact the letters on the car in front of you are backwards. And then the guy says we were nowhere near that right taillight. And then when he gets cross-examined, he's like, yeah, it was inverted. I don't know what happened. Wow. Did you see that happen, 12 Gauge?
Yeah, I did. That was crazy, man.
Was that the Buchanan guy who said that?
I forget his name. Do you remember his name there, 12?
Bukaki?
I don't remember either. It's some kind of weird name.
And in all of these cases, I'll give you an example. This is what, and I was arrested by a cop one time, nicest guy in the world. He knew that the warrant that was issued in front of him wasn't me. He knew it. There was no doubt about it. And he looked at me and said, I've been told by my commanders to bring you in. I got to arrest you, put you in cuffs, put you in the car, and bring you to the town. Bring you in front of a court. He says, and I know it's not you. He goes, the description doesn't even match you. He goes, the only thing that matches you is the name. But your license shows a different first name. He goes, so I'm sorry, but I have to do this. And this is how you corrupt policemen that aren't corrupt. You assign them a task that they themselves know on its face is inappropriate. But if they don't do it, they're in trouble. That's how you build the blue wall. That's how you recruit new people. You send them out on errands they shouldn't even be fucking engaged with. And you arrest a guy like me for some sick crime against some woman that a stepbrother did. He did it, not me. His name is on the warrant, not mine. And then you arrest me, and you know this, but you do it because you don't want to lose your job. That's what I think they did to Brett Payne. But that's how you teach these new people coming in, the endemic corruption that the Black Lives Matter people talk about, that they're spot on correct about. No matter what you think of that organization, and I think it's disgusting, that organization, but it's not the messenger that I'm concerned about. It's their message that's accurate. I don't care who delivered it, what they look like, how their lifestyle has got nothing to do with the fact that their message is correct.
Well, look how many people either retired or quit the force during this whole process. There's a lot of them, you know?
It's just so tragic, and we don't pay attention to these people because now it gets political. Oh, we don't want to talk about Bill Thompson. Whoa. Where's Judge standing up for the defendant? His job is to ensure that the government doesn't violate your constitutional protections. That's the first and foremost job of any judge, and no judge exercises that anymore. If you look what they're doing to Koberger and look what they did to Karen Reed, the judges just allow the prosecution to do what the prosecution wants. No matter how unverifiable their arguments are in their documents, the judge is supposed to step in and put an end to that. Okay?
Yeah.
And the judge isn't doing it. Judge, we should be emailing Judge. Where are your balls, brother? What are you doing? They've essentially told you that there's nothing in the PCA that can be proven factual. Why is this kid still in prison? Why? Or jail is the right term. Get a clue. He's back as Sigma Chi. If you guys are to highlight that and search for that name on YouTube, you will find Get a Clue. who is not famous, probably no more famous than I am with people. You either like me or you don't, and either way, if you hate me, it's as good as loving me, as far as I'm concerned, because I do occupy a space of your fucking mind. Twiz? What else? What else did you come up with? Did you come up with something more in the cast that Get a Clue is complaining about?
I don't even watch that new channel, bro.
I didn't even know he had it till today. I'll probably peek in and out of it.
He had a show about the Chrysler again.
Yeah. Does he? Yeah. And look, it doesn't even matter at this point. It doesn't matter what cars were around the building. It just isn't Brian Koberger's car, right? That's been established. So as far as I'm concerned, the talk of what cars were there doesn't even matter. We know what was there in 11 to 13, just like they told us in the beginning, right? 19 months ago, that they were looking for an 11 to 13 Elantra that was in the vicinity. So they always knew, folks. That's what really irritates me. And then they attribute that car's movements to Brian Koberger. That's disturbing.
Well, if you look at that whole case, I mean, they changed the timeline. At first, they came out, it was between 3 and 4, and then they changed the timeline. And then they had the right car to begin with. Then they changed that.
Right.
Like they were constantly changing to match their narrative to end up to Koberger.
It's just, in my industry, I dealt with a client today, and we were, they call, and I ask the questions that are relevant to what we're discussing. And I offer him an option, and he goes, "No, well, you can't do that." I said, "Well, what do you mean you can't do that?" He said, "You can't do it that way." I said, "Really?" I said, "Have you ever read the directions?" He got quiet. I said, "Listen, I don't mean to be rude, but I can save you around $6,000 by telling you the truth. Do you want to hear the truth? Do you want to see the truth in documented words from the people that make the product? Or do you just want me to accept what you're telling me?" And he got real quiet. He goes, I go, "It's harder to sell the truth today than it is to just appeal to what you think. What you think will make me more money. So should I just shut my mouth and take that money? Or should I tell you the truth? You tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it." He goes, "Well, I want the truth." I said, "Very good." And I told him the truth. And I said, "Here's the supporting documents are coming to you with the estimate. I'll give you the estimate both ways. You tell me which way you want to go. I suggest you go with the truth, take that money and put it in the bank, go on vacation, put it in your kid's college fund, or set it on fire in the backyard. I don't give a fuck what you do with it. Okay? You can even give it to me and ignore the truth. I'm good with all your decisions, but you need to have all the information before you make any decision whatsoever. You need the facts. And when you got them, feel free to choose which way you want to go. It is, folks. The hardest thing to sell today is the truth. It really is. You have to actually push to get the truth out there. And then you get all of these objections, all of these people that are going to contradict you or say no one's going to go along with it. No, you're not going to make money doing that. And I say, au contraire, I think the truth would make you way more money. The truth on what these police have done in all of these cases that we've seen, all of this questionable and out blatant lies that were written in documents to allow for arresting of American citizens, that particular truth, I don't see why that wouldn't sell better than the conspiracy theory that there was a tunnel under the house. What do you think? 12 gauge and Twizzard?
No, I think it's ridiculous they use this stuff to arrest him, and they've kept him in there for so long. I think that'll be like the biggest eye-opening thing after it's all said and done.
You mean there's no tunnels? No tunnels?
Tunnels were not used in the commission of this crime.
There were no tunnels in the commission of this crime.
Oh, okay. Just
The house
checking.
was torn down. Pardon?
I was just checking, I thought,
Yeah, when the house was torn down, it showed there were no tunnels. As a matter of fact, that goofball with the clown face tried to show you an image of a door.
Maybe they covered them up. Maybe they covered them up as they were tearing the house down. The dirt, the excess dirt they had, maybe they covered them up.
That's what I mean.
I'm just giving you shit, sorry.
Don't believe your lying eyes, right? Don't believe the eyes are watching the house come down. And then when somebody says, "Look, there's an image of the doorway to the tunnel," really?
Yeah.
Where's the staircase? Because if there's a door, that fucking door is on the basement level. You mean to tell me you can walk from the tunnel right into the house? There's a door from that house into the tunnels, you fucking moron. What makes that house so special? And how big is the tunnel? There's tunnels everywhere. Some of them are only a few feet in diameter to carry sewage. You can still call that a tunnel, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I mean. They come up, well, maybe he made a U-turn. Where does it say he made a U-turn? Nowhere. Well, then shut the fuck up about U-turns.
You love that, don't you?
Dude, I do, bro, because it's like the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard somebody say. That's like you're coloring in lines that aren't even part of the document. The document is unequivocally the words that it's composed of, not woulda, coulda, shoulda, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that drives me out of my mind. You're right. I do bring it up. It's funny as fuck because it's just really. So if he was caught on camera, did a U-turn, wouldn't he have been caught on the same camera going back the other way? Wouldn't that be the video they supplied to the defense attorney? Is the one they're arguing shows him heading towards the house? No. Oh, well, why would they do that? Right?
With
I would think.
he's referring to a video that him and another person did early in my channel progression, and we spent probably about an hour and a half discussing that one point. It was a very heated one. I was kind of the referee.
I missed it.
Yeah, it's still on. It's still in my library. If you want to know, I'll send you the link in Discord.
I
it.
saved that video of Tommy going off on that stupid peeing on the guy's face.
Yeah.
All of these cases have enough data to make streams on and get clicks and followers. That's the best thing, the best kept secret about this stuff is no matter what you put out there, you're going to get viewers. It may take you longer, but you're going to get viewers. And as you learn to put more and more interesting things out there, you're going to get more and more viewers, right?
Well,
Yeah.
y'all believe in the co-defendant that new dude was talking about, or that guy that's talking about nowadays? I'm not going to mention names. I don't like mentioning names, but
What co-defendant?
I don't know. Some dude had that in his video tag list. Koberger has a co-defendant. Do you know how stupid that sounds?
Well, let's say he did. I don't know that he doesn't. There was talk or some motion file that mentioned something to that effect, but it wasn't clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say, if the co-defendant was the driver of that car, then fine. Then he was in an 11 to 13. In other words, there is a way to extrapolate that data to apply to Koberger, but none of it is being brought forward to support their argument. And it's pointing out that the car in the video isn't Koberger's car. Right? They're arguing that their PCA alleges Koberger vehicle, suspect vehicle 1 belonging to Brian Christopher Koberger. Well, they can't say that if he got a ride in a 20 to 11 to 13 with a co-conspirator. They can't lie like that. You can't unequivocally state that car belonged to Koberger.
Right.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So because of that, you have to question the possibility of a co-defendant, because in none of their filings is there any suggestion at all to a co-defendant. Now, again, like I'm saying, I don't argue the guy's innocence. I'm not arguing for that. I'm pointing out that everything that they've used to accuse the guy is false. Factually false. So are any of the warrants and subsequent things that they did, like indict him based on false data that they used, is any of that stuff, should any of that be usable against this guy? And I say no.
It won't be.
And Judge needs to step in. You know who has a clip? And she's never gone and found it for me, so I don't know if she actually has the clip. But I heard it the same day she heard it, when Judge made a comment to the prosecution. You got an indictment because you have a weak case. And let me just explain to you folks that the reason that is even more believable, that her and I both heard this, okay, in a hearing. The reason I'm set that it's believable is all the stuff that you're seeing now is the only thing they could have presented at the preliminary hearing. That's it. The preliminary hearing is an investigation. It's a questioning of the government's acts against you. So there would have been no questioning about DNA in a preliminary hearing. They got a warrant for the DNA only after they charged him with 4 multiple homicides. They did not have his DNA. You see? So a preliminary hearing would have dealt with all the work done pre-arrest. That's what a preliminary hearing is.
Right.
And that's why you see what you're seeing now. Everything that would have been questioned in the preliminary hearing, you've seen questioned over the last 3 or 4 hearings. And every single one of these questions have shown you the documents to be false. So yeah, I do remember him saying that, not because she reminded me of it, but I remember him actually saying it, not in a very boisterous way, but a kind of wasn't a snide remark, but it was an off the cuff comment. You know, you got an indictment because your case was weak. And now you look at the case. Does this case not appear weak?
Well, the judges also said that there's a lot of issues with the discovery too.
There is. How is it that the car you identified and told the public you were looking for is on a video, but you can't provide that video to Miss Taylor?
Well, she has it now.
Why are you attributing that car to being Brian Koberger? That's a good question, right? Does he own 2
Yep.
cars we're not aware of?
Nope. But you can't be in 2 places at once. We also have to remember that Ann knows where Brian was.
Well, I mean, there's so many freaking Elantras in that damn area. You know, I mean, just to be fair, you don't really know how many cars were driving through there at that point in time.
No. And why was the Elantra the only one of interest? Was it because it made all of those turns? It sounds like somebody was lost, or they were going to deliver or pick somebody up, and they were doing what they were doing with that Elantra. I've always suspected that was a more accurate view of what I try to do is look at the data you give me and come to some reasonable view of it. And I look for something simple. If you got to twist and turn and do jumping jacks and run through hula hoops to make sense of what you're looking at, then you're going down the wrong road with it. Start with the most simple explanation, and then as more facts are added, you can expand upon it. Right? That's why I say I take the data as delivered. And when you tell me in December of 2022 that you're looking for an 11 to 13 Elantra, and then you arrest a guy with a 15, I know the 15 isn't involved around the house, that the car you're looking for that was around that house isn't Koberger's. So why are you looking for that car?
Yeah.
Right? I shouldn't have to wait 19 months to be confirmed that that's exactly true.
So who had the 2011 to 2013 that you were looking for? That's the big question.
Correct.
What if it's not white?
Right, because
no.
Yeah,
seriously. When the cops come out and say we're looking for a white Elantra that was seen driving around the neighborhood, what if the car isn't white and that's why the person didn't say anything?
It's green.
It could
we
be.
don't know. We don't know.
It's
Fair enough.
red.
We don't know, right?
I mean, my mind just asked that. You know, if it's not this, then who had the real car? You know, who was in the real car?
But
if it wasn't Koberger, then you supposedly let somebody off the hook?
No, my point is, who cares? And at this point, you're never really going to know. The reason why I say who cares is because we know clearly it wasn't Koberger's car, right? And the only person charged with the crime is Koberger.
Well, I mean, the only reason I cared because, you know, that could have been the real killer. That's the only reason I care. I don't give a shit about Koberger one way or the other. I mean, at this point, but I care because you say it's an 11 to 13 and it's around the time of the crime.
It fits exactly the movements in the PCA. Exactly.
Yeah.
Every description of a movement of an Elantra in that. You notice they said suspect vehicle 1. They didn't say 2015 Hyundai Elantra belonging to one Christopher Brian Koberger, right? Brian, whatever the name is. You see, a lot of people don't realize that when you write motions and you write for warrants, there should be a level of specificity in there that the judge can easily obtain the data that you're trying to communicate to him. He shouldn't have to open up a fucking law book or go watch movies of your cousin Vinny to figure out what the fuck you're asking him.
Yeah.
So
That's-
how is it you
That's
say
a great
suspect
movie,
vehicle
man.
one?
That's a great
Right.
movie.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. But my point is, you're attributing suspect vehicle one to Koberger, and then admitting that you had 11 to 13 on camera, not Koberger.
It'll be
I think-
interesting when we know the date when that year range was changed and then which videos they relied on to change it. Because I bet you it's not the same video.
Yeah, when she gets to the 16, when she gets to the 14 to 16, she's addressed that in a motion. And Taylor made a clear statement. The FBI relied heavily upon a image of a vehicle traveling the wrong way at the wrong time on the wrong road to identify a 14 to 16 Hyundai Elantra. And I promise you, folks, that Koberger's going to admit that's his car in that camera. Guarantee it.
Dude, what if it's him taking a right on Main Street off Stadium Way, like away from Moscow? I'm telling you that they probably changed it to a 14 to 16 based off camera in Pullman.
Say that again.
They probably changed the year range of the car to fit a 14 to 16 through footage in Pullman.
Right. And their mistake was they should never have brought up in the PCA the movements of that 20 to 13, 2011 Hyundai. See, that's the part that I have an issue
I mean,
with.
during an investigation, you can't just be shuffling through evidence and being like, okay, well, we think it's this car, but apparently it's this car, supposedly it's this car, we're looking for this car, but then, oh, no. Let's say it's this car between whatever years they said. 11 to 16, right? Isn't that what they said? Or what was it? 14 to 16?
Yeah, it was 11 to 13 originally, then they changed it to a 14 to 16.
But they
Yeah.
didn't change it. We changed it out here in the community. They never changed it.
In the PCA, it says he relied on the FBI expert to like expand it to a fit 14 to 16 as well.
Well, but with a separate photo from a separate area.
Right.
Very specific.
Yeah,
They
it doesn't
did
say they
identify
used the same footage.
No.
It says using various footages and whatever the exact wording is, but
And that's
see, the
when
thing is I don't think the FBI did anything wrong here. I think Payne Payne twisted what he was getting from people to try and fit Brian.
No, that's not what happened. Payne said he wrote what he was told to write. Payne fucked
Also,
up.
there was a pissing contest going between MPD and FBI during that
And
time. So it sounds like they didn't want to work together accordingly.
Well, there was a big conflict between the FBI and MPD for sure, from what we've heard.
You guys carry the room. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. But I think that the FBI gave Payne reports and then Payne picked and chose what he wanted to make Brian fit it. I don't think the FBI said, say this, this, and this to get Brian because he's your guy. I don't think the FBI thought he was the guy. $12.
I'm thinking, bro. I'm thinking. You know what I was thinking about with the Cessna that circled his house supposedly during the. I don't know why.
The arrest?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I don't know why my mind went to that, but I heard what you said. Shit, caught me off guard there. I was like daydreaming for some reason. Can you repeat the question?
I was just saying that I think the FBI gave Payne the reports and then Payne wrote the PCA based on the reports, but it wasn't the FBI saying that Brian is your guy. He just picked and chose which
No, I don't.
parts would make it fit.
That's
Yeah.
not what he testified to.
But Sarge and I have always stated in previous conversations that we believe that the police worked this case backwards. Like instead of working forward with the evidence, they worked backwards with the evidence. That's why it seems so out of context.
Yeah, to make Brian fit.
Yeah.
Can I just say that something dawned on me? That's why I like discussing stuff with different people, because it makes my head work. It's possible, folks, that knowing now that there was a federal grand jury, right? That in fact they have a scenario of Kohlberger's involvement in this crime that's completely contradictory to the state's. And their scenario may in fact prove his guilt. And the state fucking jumped in and charged him using this happy horse shit and have held him for 19 months, right? So that's why I'm saying I never ever want to argue his innocence, because we have no way to verify it one way or the other. But what we can all agree on, if we read the documents and fairly interpret what they say and what the testimony of their validity says, we can clearly come to an agreement, if you're a level-headed person, that the state of Idaho has it wrong. The events of that night are not as they've described. The events that they used to arrest him are not accurate. Can we agree with that?
I think so.
Okay. But is it possible the FBI has a different angle?
Of course.
Okay. All right. And that may be the divide between these two agencies. I want people to understand, I'm not in here arguing for guilt or innocence. I'm in here with this fucking irritating thing in my craw that the state's case doesn't hold water. Just like my cousin Biddy said. There's no veracity to what they've accused the guy of. It's unprovable. It's false. Does that mean Kohlberger didn't do it? Absolutely not. The prosecution also stated that some of the information they have was obtained from the feds in their investigation. Okay, cool.
Well, if you're investigating something, you tell these people, "Hey, we're helping you out, but this is your case. If you're going to bring this to court, don't put our name in it. You're investigating the case. If you put us in it, we're going to say we just gave you a tip. We're not trying to take credit for this."
Right. Wasn't it an application of a warrant where they said for the judge that they prefer they not use the DNA information in any of the warrants because they're concerned that it would be found inadmissible somewhere down the road?
Yes, exactly. They told them they preferred that they not use that.
Right. So here's let's just accept this as a working theory that fits the data that we have. We're not making up. We're not woulda, coulda, shoulda. We know that by courtroom testimony and discussion that there is a federal grand jury here, right? That's true. Okay. Also, that the defense or the prosecution or one of them have actually got information from that grand jury that they've used to investigate this case. That's fair, right?
Yep.
So is it possible that the state's summation of events, which are completely at this point shown to be inaccurate, are not the basis under which this man committed the crime? Right?
Mm-hmm.
There could be like I said before, there's a parking lot 850 feet away, guys. There's a million ways you could say Brian Kohlberger did this, but none of them are in the PCA. Of all the infinite ways and parallel universes and fucking crazy thinking, there's more than trillions and trillions of ways he could have done this. But the cops all got it wrong in Idaho. The statements that they made and the allegations they placed at the feet of Brian Kohlberger don't hold water. That does not mean he didn't do it. It just means that your government, your police, your agencies, your officials are a bunch of fucking morons. That's what we're ignoring. Fair enough.
That could be true too.
So, I mean, maybe all of that cast data is not even relevant. Maybe what the FBI has are some of the cameras and some of the other surveillance or witnesses that these guys didn't go talk to. Look at the Karen Reed case. They waited 16 months to 19 months to talk to the plow guy, who said he clearly didn't see any body on that lawn on the passes he made, which were hours after Karen had left the scene. They didn't talk to him for 19 months. And could that be also happening here? I think it is. So again, I think that the FBI, if they have a case against Koberger that's solid, then bring it, right?
Well, the FBI was following Brian around Pullman in early of December.
How do we know that? Because
So right after he was arrested, the FBI had articles saying that they ordered the Indiana police to pull him over. They had been following him around Pullman. They had eyes on him, right? Because you don't need a warrant to have eyes on somebody in public. They had eyes on Brian since early December. And then one day they lost track of him. Then his plate showed up on that plate reader in Colorado. And then they ordered Indiana to pull him over.
I thought it was said that that was never anything to do with the FBI or the police.
No, but here's the thing.
Too.
A couple days later, all of a sudden the FBI started saying that they didn't order the traffic stops, and then all of those articles were scrubbed from the internet. I read
Right.
those articles with my own two eyes. Heather read those articles with her own two eyes. Plenty of people have read these articles. It's just most people that follow the case now weren't following it back then.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've been following it from
Fair
the beginning. I remember early on that being argued that they didn't order that traffic stop. I remember that. I
Yeah.
don't remember reading articles. Like a lot of people don't remember when I say judge, and even Gulf inspector has said that too. That judge said, you indicted him because you have a weak case, and the case is arguably extraordinarily weak. Now, a lot of people say they never heard that, they don't remember, and I accept that. You could say that that's I'm being a conspiracy theorist. I remember the judge saying that. I absolutely
I do remember that too. I mean, I remember saying that him saying something.
I accept what you're saying. If the FBI accepted responsibility and then retracted it sometime later, I don't see that being contradictive. I accept that you and others have read it that way, and that's the way it was, and then it was scrubbed, and the news story came out. I don't see that being unusual. It seems to be the way these agencies seem to work all the time.
I have a screenshot in my hand that says Idaho murders. FBI directed Indiana police to pull over Brian Koberger seeking video images of his hands by Fox News. This was an article, but somebody gave me a screenshot of it earlier. I don't have the full article.
Okay, so
but that's what I read.
Agency telling us that though. That's not the FBI saying they did it. There's a difference because these news agencies tell us all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah, but they're claiming it was from the FBI, right?
The source. No, I don't believe it. So if it's written like that, I don't accept it. If the FBI,
well, that's just that's the headline of the article.
No, but that's one of those juicy headlines that are all source based that have no validity to fact. There's no supporting fact. It isn't that we talked with a special agent in charge, Reed, who told us they had that vehicle pulled over. They're going to say in that article, guarantee it, like Brian is an incel. These are just statements made.
I don't know about on this article, but down below it says the law enforcement source told Fox News that the FBI surveillance team was seeking video images of Koberger as well as his hands.
That's a source to the news agency. It's bunk. I wouldn't accept that unless the FBI came out and admitted to it, and they actually came out and denied it after that story.
But then you're getting the same sources. So how do we believe anything?
So what, the FBI didn't come out themselves and make the statement that it wasn't them?
Well, okay. Again, this is the only screenshot I have right now because I read several articles back when this happened, when he first got arrested, where the FBI, and I don't remember them word for word, but I read several of those articles saying that I remember them saying they had been following Brian around Pullman since early December. I don't remember the date if it gave one. But I remember them saying that they lost eyes on him in early morning of December 13th, which is the day that he left Pullman. So the articles that I read back then seemed legit. Now, maybe they're just made up sources. It's always possible.
Yeah. Yeah, see, and that's
it just seems in this case that the FBI was brought in for assistance, but they want to keep as far away as any accountability towards evidence or statements or anything as possible. And you got to ask yourself, what's the reason? How come they don't want to be involved in this case as deeply as people are trying to put them in it?
Yeah. So This is the way
Come on,
I interpret
come on. Give me your feedback on what I just asked. What would be a reason for that? Anybody?
I don't know.
Because it seems like, okay, we're brought in to assist you because you're a small town agency and you called us in. We have all these agents here on staff with you. We're helping you investigate this. You're getting angry or frustrated at us. We're having issues, and then all of a sudden we're giving you stuff, but don't use it unless, if you do use it, make sure you tell them that it's a tip, that it wasn't, us that gave you the information, because then they're going to want to know where you got it from.
Right.
We don't want to be a part of this.
Exactly.
What are they working on in that area that they don't want to be the forerunner in solving this case?
That's what I'm saying. Is it possible that their investigation that's parallel is completely opposite in its conclusions, yet still shows Koberger as the man that committed the murder? And here's the point: if that's true, that the Idaho hasn't withdrawn is perplexing. Because if the FBI can show that Koberger unequivocally committed this crime, then they should be the lead in prosecuting this case, or this case should be withdrawn. And if the state's going to bring it back, they bring it back with the data the FBI has. Because at this point, everything they've shown us is insanely inaccurate. So if the FBI and the state are at odds, the FBI should trump the state.
Of course.
Right?
And if they really wanted to try him, they have a 99.9 conviction rate regardless. So it's I mean, either way, they're either saying, hey, we're going to let you try this guy because if we step in and we do all the work, he's going to be guilty.
Well, here's the other thing, too, like Heather says, and I have a predetermined view of any report from a source that if it's an unnamed source, I do not accept it as fact. Just I put it up on the chalkboard as a reference. Okay. And she's saying the FBI did come out and say, nope, that was not us. And I accept that if the FBI made the statement, I accept that at face value as fact, which trumps the claim that they actually ordered the stop. You see? That's how I always viewed that. Because I remember pretty solidly that it was the FBI that denied they had anything to do with those traffic stops. Indiana denied it themselves. So the FBI involvement here is curious, and that's what I'm saying. We're in a sense theorizing, but we're staying within the bounds of the factual data available to us. We're not, trying to pin it on some drug cartel or some video or some frat boy. We're taking actual data that's real, that's a part of this case, and trying to understand it. That's why I say, could the FBI have a different angle in this case that shows him guilty? It's possible. Doesn't seem likely at this point, in all fairness, because it's been going on for 19 months. Right? So I don't know what the FBI has or what the federal investigators are looking at. If it's even, do we know they're not looking at the town of Idaho for their prosecutorial misconduct all over the map?
Well, at this
That would be nice.
At this point, it feels like they're just making shit up as they go along. Like, they're saying the PCA is irrelevant. It's not. It wasn't written correctly. This, that, and the other. Okay, so you already have this man in jail for so many months,
Right.
and you're showing that this isn't correct. This isn't correct. This isn't correct. So either you're incompetent as a police department at gathering evidence and presenting facts, or you made all this up to fit one suspect. So that is Brady Giglio in itself.
Yes. Look at the comment on the screen. The FBI is investigating Koberger for stealing chemicals from the chem lab. Where's the proof of that?
That's what Bloom says. Have you heard that?
No, I don't pay attention to Bloom. I wouldn't wipe my ass with him either.
Oh yeah. So Bloom said that a chem lab card went missing, and they're now investigating Brian for making bombs.
What the fuck?
That's what Howard Bloom
And
said.
how many people are going to flock to this guy and accept that is information of value? That's what makes me ill.
A lot of
It literally makes me ill. Here's a question for you all. Let's get off of true crime. I'm going to ask all you guys a question. You two are smart people, so I'm going to ask you. Okay. So the sun is in the sky, correct? Right.
That's what we've been told.
As we've been told, yes.
And if you go outside, okay, right, and
Yeah.
it hits you, you warm up, right?
Well, that's
Right.
the reflections off the cloud that cause.
So let me ask. No, let me finish. So listen. That big ball of fire up in the sky. Apparently, something is coming off it, and it's warming us up, and it's lighting up our day. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You guys, right? Okay. So let me ask you this: Why in the 92 million miles between us and the sun is it 252 degrees below zero and totally fucking dark? Why?
I have no idea.
That is the truth. What I'm sharing with you is a truth. It's kind of fucked up.
I've heard that as well.
Well, it's not even that you heard that. It's true. If you go out in space around Earth, okay, if you were to shoot the temperature of space around Earth, right, and not point at the sun, but the sun is shining across the whole sky. It's shining all over the place, 360 degrees. It's shining everywhere. Why is everywhere not the temperature of the sun? Why isn't the sun heating? Why is there no heat between us and the sun? Why is it so cold between us and the sun? Why is it only when the sun points at one side of the moon does the moon heat up? And if the moon turns, it goes right back down to fucking 252 degrees below zero. But when the sun, here's an example. Why is it when the space station comes up, when the space station it's in 252 degrees below zero, that's what it is outside the space station. But when it comes up and the sun hits it, it now raises the temperature to 254 degrees above Fahrenheit. Positively. That's like a 500 degree swing in temperature. And then when it goes back down around the Earth and it gets out of the sunlight, it goes back down to 252 below zero. But if you were to take the temperature between the sun and the fucking space station, the space between the two of you is 252 degrees below zero. Why is it not 254 degrees above zero between us and the sun? That's a perplexing question, isn't it?
Because of the shadow that the moon cast upon the.
No, it's an easy answer. There's nothing for the sun to hit on the way to Earth. It's empty space. There's nothing to warm. There's nothing to reflect. There's nothing that can actually interact with the rays of the sun that would allow it to raise to 252 degrees. It's only when you put something of matter between you and the sun does the sun itself heat that matter up. So if you are in the space station and you come around the dark side of the planet and you come up to the light where the sun's hitting you, your space station is going to immediately, the rays are going to hit it. Whatever's coming off of that sun is going to contact it and heat it. But everything between you and the sun is empty. Nothing. And because of that nothingness, that's what space is, folks. It's nothing. It doesn't get heated. It stays cold. Even when the beams of the fucking sun are shining through it, it stays cold. Because there's nothing to take on the heat. There's nothing to absorb it or reflect it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, those questions are kind of, they're interesting questions and they're interesting facts. Most people don't think about stuff that deeply, but it is quite fucking curious to know that there's absolutely nothing up there. When you look out into the deep darkness of space and you see a star shining between you and the star, it's fucking absolute, it's 252 degrees below zero. There's nothing there, not even light. Why, when they took the picture off the moon, right? Did everything behind the moon look black? Why wasn't that all bright and shiny like the moon surface itself? It's not because the picture is fake. It's because the light had nothing to interact with between the moon and the sun. Therefore, the space between the moon and the sun is empty, and emptiness doesn't interact with light. I hope that makes sense. The reason I point that out is things aren't as complicated as people think they are. We have an affinity to complicate things beyond comprehension and get off the rails and go down rabbit holes and come up with all kinds of crazy bullshit.
Maybe the rabbit holes lead to the tunnel back behind 1122. You know, rabbits living underground, right?
Or
Yeah.
like a sprinkler line or something.
Yeah.
Brian is Ant-Man.
Look at
He
it.
came in through the pipes.
Apparently, being an ex-crack addict makes you better off, which I am an ex-crack addict, and I am absolutely in many ways better off than, fortunately for myself, for the opportunities this country's given me. I am better off than many people. That wasn't my goal, but that is the result of doing what you're supposed to do. Do the right thing. Look for the truth. Try to stick with the truth and just move day to day, and things will get better. And they'll get better for you than those people that avoid seeking the truth or being honest with themselves and the people around them. That simple philosophy makes for a wonderful life. I literally I don't, maybe the other reason I'm in true crime complaining is because I got nothing in my life to complain about, and I need something to complain about.
That could be part of it.
There's something to be said for that. I mean, I'm not immune to analyzing or questioning myself or having others do that. I have no problem.
There seems to be a lot of that going on though, because like I'm convinced that part of the reason why all the big channels or people get the larger audience are the ones that say that Brian did it is because the story is better. Well, not only do they get to make it up, but just saying that he went out driving that night is kind of boring, you know?
And isn't it the story about the son's kind of boring too? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And
I'm
so
with you on that, Chris. I'm with you on that, man.
yeah, there's no drama. There's no entertainment value because
And they're gonna be quite deflated when the trial actually comes and it is boring as fuck. And they have nothing to fucking chew on. It's gonna be a meatless bone, man. They're gonna be fucking still making shit up. The judge is corrupt. The judge is wrong. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it is what it is.
And I think it's all, in all fairness, the whole reason this republic exists, okay, was for the sovereign right of the individual. And too many people out here just don't seem to have a grasp of what the fuck that means. And the only way your sovereign rights can be fucking ensured is when you question them. And then you point out where they've gone across the line. And you focus on those issues and stay on those issues and stay with the names, people, places, and things that those issues originate from. That's how you protect your freedom.
Well, Sarge, also, you've been saying for a long time when you created your channel and everything else, it's okay to have an opinion as long as you bring facts to back it up. Just an opinion is a fucking useless state of words or emotion without facts.
I say no one's entitled to their opinion. I say shut the fuck up. If you don't have a fact to support your opinion,
you say that.
I don't care what your opinion is. It means nothing to me.
Yeah.
The guy did a U-turn. I don't want to talk to you. You have no fact to support your statement. The statement's useless. It's unfucking interesting. There's nothing to compare it or weigh it against. It's like a Bigfoot argument. I don't engage in them. Bigfoot doesn't exist. I don't give a fuck how many sightings people put online or on TV or make shows about or talk about on the phone. Bring me a tribe of Bigfoots. Bring me a fucking herd of Bigfoots. Okay? Otherwise, shut the fuck up about Bigfoot. I'm not talking about it.
I saw a fucking metal Bigfoot in the middle of a field the other day. That doesn't count.
No.
Technically, you did see Bigfoot.
Yeah. I mean,
no one asked if it had a heartbeat.
It's just crazy how we have allowed ourselves to become entertained, and we're being conquered by entertainment. You have the world's most promising society with the most promising people, a breadbasket of fucking constantly different people engaged in what's supposed to be the act of freedom in an age of information. And we're allowing the internet to entertain us into defeat. We're surrendering our nation to the criminals because we refuse to pay attention to things that need all our attention. When these cops and these prosecutors and these judges misbehave, when these politicians, when these mayors, that's what we need to focus on. That should be our interest of knowledge. Entertainment's fantastic. I love it. But when you deal with the Kohlberger case or the Karen Reed case and any of these other cases, And your motive is to be your motive. You don't even realize it. Your motive, you've been trained like a monkey to seek out entertainment. Like the monkey seeks the banana, you're going to bring it every morning. That's what's happened to everybody on the internet. We seek to be entertained. I'm guilty of it too. But that's why I try to keep hammering over and over again. Facts, 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 facts. Your opinion could be wonderful. Bring a fact. We discussed the fact your FBI thing, right? Now we may politely disagree. But when I see sources, and then as Heather is saying, when the FBI comes out and completely denies that happened, I have to accept the FBI's explanation. That could change somewhere, but I take it at face value. I did the same thing when they told me about the 11 to 13 Elantra. I accept the FBI's accuracy to their description. That could change. Eventually, it turned out to be accurate, right? So that's kind of how I sort through information. I want to see your statement of fact and then weigh it against what reality has in front of me.
One thing I wish I'd hope is that people fucking honor the memory of Kopaka as serving as a military person instead of bringing him into something like that, but because there's no fucking factual way that he was involved in any of this.
Well,
No.
we don't know that
No, we will never know that though, right? So why bring him in?
unless they come out with whatever that other investigation is. I'm not saying that Kopaka did anything, but I still think that he's involved in the investigation somehow. He might have been innocent and he was a part of the investigation. He might have done something, but he's part of the investigation somewhere.
That's possible. I mean, we just have no way to know.
Right.
And so because there's no factual connection to it, I kind of, if you guys have noticed, I don't think you've ever witnessed me bring up Mr. Kopaka or Brent, whatever his name is.
I don't either, because I mean, I haven't seen any reliable information that supports anything other than, the guy got killed.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? Because the judge started to say Kopak.
Yeah.
And said Brent Koberger. And then Massoff is talking about that other investigation with alternative suspects. But with the judge, he said that he reads the document, like all the documents the night before, and then he started to say Kopak. Why would he have Kopak on his brain at all?
Because there's still an open investigation into that, I think.
Well, I know that, but my point is this: his name is in the document somewhere.
No, but yeah, and it may be a document associated with a different case, but
It could be.
He did attempt to say the name and then he went Koberger, right? He did correct himself.
Yeah.
So that tells me he may have some involvement with the Kopaka case, not the inverse that the Kopaka has something to do with this case.
Right, but when Kopaka was swatted, he was in Washington. Judge would have nothing to do with it. That's like the biggest issue I have with that. I think somewhere in the documents his name is there. He might not have done anything wrong, but he was still part of the investigation somehow.
That's also reasonable. There's no reason not to suggest that could be why it came across his tongue that way. Right? We won't know unless, and somebody just said it, reality says don't trust the FBI. But somebody had made a comment, if Kopaka had any involvement or any connections, the defense will probably, we'll hear it from the defense. There you go. Just Amber had made that comment. And that's it. Until I hear something definitive that connects anybody except Koberger to this crime, then I'm not interested in them at all. That's why I've avoided Brent Kopaka, because it's not even a matter of respect because of his military service. It's got nothing to do with that. Titles are just titles, folks.
Yeah.
Right? So I respect everybody. And just because you were in the service doesn't mean you earn a higher level of respect from me. I do acknowledge and respect, and I'm grateful that you did that. But I'm also respect and I'm happy that there's a butcher that cuts my meat too. You follow me? I mean, I have respect for all different kinds of people. But I wouldn't keep him out of it if his name was connected to this in one way, shape, or form directly.
I mean, I'm just thankful I was nowhere near freaking Moscow, Idaho on the 12th or the 13th, because it seems like anybody that was ever caught on camera, mentioned with anybody, or friends with anybody, they're automatically involved in this somehow. They were they were involved in one shape, form, or the other. You know, it's almost like you put all these pieces together, and you're like the Asian woman. There's only one Asian in Moscow and Pullman. You know that, right? And she
Well, he was hanging out with.
and she happened to know Koberger. You
Right,
know,
right.
and she was
Well, here-
friends with Kaylee. That was the only Asian in town. The only
but it's,
Asian in town.
let's look at David's comment. It's not alleged in any filing. There's no allegation that Kopeka had a girl. I mean, there may be people saying that on the internet, but there's no documentation that I've ever seen. And to be very honest with you, I don't really care where his girlfriend lived. That's like, again, like me talking about the sun and the temperature space between us and the sun. What part does that have in any of these cases? Fucking nothing.
Well,
Right.
all of the filings are about Brian. It's not about, like, we don't have general filings about the case. We have filings against Brian.
Right.
So that's all we're ever going to see. We're never going to see Kopaka's name in a filing for Brian.
No.
And
Or-
it shows,
So there might be other, because they were listing off like what, 19, 17, 21 phone numbers that they were trying to get information on. We don't know whose those are. There could be plenty of other alternative suspects that we don't know the name of.
whose DNA did they surreptitiously obtain through a disposed cigarette? We don't know.
Yeah.
We do know that happened, right? They told us it did. That's the other thing that drives me
And
crazy.
two others. And two others.
Right. You've got the capacity. Why didn't you go after Koberger in an investigative way? That's always kind of disturbed me.
Yeah, they didn't go.
He's a great suspect based on their preliminary evidence.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that, except their preliminary evidence was shit.
That's what I'm saying, CA. That's the only Asian in town, so she's
Yeah, what's
she's
that got to do with
fucked. She's
what does that
fucked.
got to do
She's
with
the
the
only
crime?
Asian in town.
Well, what's that got to do with the crime? Nothing. Right. I guess.
Well, I guess, I mean, you know, that showed that he's not an incel. He found the only Asian in town. Hey,
And
what
he's
if the exculpatory evidence is he wasn't even attracted to white women? What if he was only attracted to Asians or black women or Hispanics?
That
What if he
wouldn't
was
really
gay?
fit the case. That would just make
What if
I would
he
just
was
like
gay?
that
would
wouldn't
be
stop the case
exculpatory,
though.
No,
Not
what
really.
if he's gay? I mean, how do we know the guy isn't gay?
Right.
The only thing that would really work against is the whole stalking theory, but that's already been pretty much been put to bed for anyone with a brain when the judge and the prosecutor both say it in open court that stalking didn't occur.
Right.
But I'm not talking about stalking. I'm talking about him being attracted to different races. I mean,
Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
But that's like, isn't that the theory though, that he went over there to kill them because he was attracted to them and jealous of their lifestyle with their friends and stuff?
Yeah, that was one of the things. That's the arguments that the media and the streamers created.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. The cops are never making that argument. But they do plant the seed. When they wrote that PCA, they planted all these little seeds. And like the media, this is the most thorough written document I've ever read when it comes to a probable cause affidavit. Really? All it says is Brian didn't do it. If you want to tell the truth, you don't know where he was. You can't track his phone. You got no video of the guy. You got no ID of his car near the house. You got nothing, right? But yet
Yep.
that's the most incredible document you've ever most thoroughly written.
There's a car that might be his around the house, but it doesn't say it's his. They have no evidence it's his. There's no proof it's his.
Well, they admitted that the car around the house isn't his. They said it was 11.
Well, now, but we're just talking about the PCA.
Oh, okay.
well,
Well, the mainstream media
if you look at the whole thing, man. I mean, like from the beginning, I always thought, unless they can put him in that fucking house, all this other shit, and the only way that supposedly they can put him in the house is the sheath. But all this other stuff and the witness statement, but that still doesn't put him in the house. I mean, there's countless people that dress in black and have bushy eyebrows. I mean, come on, bro. You know, so
A male that's 5'10" or taller.
How many people
probably
in
most
that
men.
area? How many people in that area that
on a college campus?
We don't get skin color, hairstyle, hair
Right.
color.
Oh, what color were the bushy eyebrows? What color were the bushy eyebrows? That
What
would be
color was
one of
his
the
skin?
questions I would be asking. What color were those bushy eyebrows? Were they
What color was
redheaded?
his skin? How do we know he wasn't Hispanic or black or Asian?
Right,
Yep.
Hey, I'm 5'10". I have bushy eyebrows, but I'm a million miles away from Moscow, you know?
Well, you got to do driving Elantra?
Hell no.
Come clean now, bro, because we will drop a dime on
Hey,
you,
don't
damn
be
it.
putting this shit on me, man. Twizzle's right down the street, bro.
Now,
Twiz.
but not at
What-
the
Let
time
me
of the
go to the
crime.
court
Uh-huh.
hearing. Let me
Yeah,
go
but
to
yeah,
the court hearings, man.
he's going to say he moved to an unfamiliar area. Is that what you're going to try to tell us? Because the killers usually go back to the scene of the crime, Twiz. What are you doing?
I've never been to the scene of the crime though.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I've
sure.
been to Pullman and Moscow.
Uh-huh. And how did you find about living in that area? What brought you there, killer?
I lived in Pullman long before the crime happened.
Oh, so you have a history with the area. Maybe you got some resentment you were living out.
Did you
I
ever
have
party? Did you
I
ever
have
party with
pictures in the
Koberger?
house.
Hey, did you ever party with Koberger at the Grove?
No, because I didn't live here at that time.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Were you sure you weren't driving around stalking them?
Yeah, I was like 1,200 miles away in Arizona.
Oh, you were in Arizona.
Hey, that's where Xana's from.
I know.
Mm. Isn't that where was Kaylee going?
Texas.
Texas. That's where he's at.
Mhm.
Point the finger at him some more.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
I think you guys have got as much information that we can connect dots on as the crimes that all these people are talking about on streams. I wonder if Dago or Clue or anyone else is involved in this crime. Because
I mean, see how ridiculous that sounds, man. He was in Arizona. That's where Xana was from. So
right.
therefore, he could have known Xana. He could have been her next door neighbor. How he could have been supplying her drugs for all we know.
I'd be perfectly happy, folks, if the investigative process showed with even a slight reasonable doubt, but showed his presence in that home during the times of this particular incident. Anything that could show me that. The DNA, unfortunately, doesn't show me that. Doesn't show me that at all. Doesn't say when it was there, how it was there. It doesn't tell me. Matter of fact, because everything before the DNA was a lie, right?
Exactly. Why would I believe it? Show me
I
the proof.
really question, the veracity of you deciphering 8 microscopic skin cells and building a Brian Koberger out of it, okay? I mean, if you could do that, how is it all these dinosaur fossils, we can't clone them? You're able to create a complete DNA stream for a human being from 8 microscopic skin cells. Really?
They
I don't
did
know.
in
You couldn't even
Jurassic
identify
Park.
the right car. You couldn't even tell me the right car.
They did in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, they did.
Crickets.
And
I'm just
that's
in the mood
what
tonight,
shocks
bro.
me
I
is,
don't feel all that well, so I get really silly when I'm.
as Americans, this should be what we're interested in, and it can be entertaining as well. I mean, there's no reason why you can't ridicule Cracker Claus, right? Sitting at that prosecution table, right? And then he's the one that comes out and says that she's tainting the jury because she brought up, have you heard that Brian Koberger was stalking the victims? And that there was no stalking involved. She's tainting the community. You asshole. You did it. I don't even understand why he brought that case against her. That was shocking to me. It's almost, but it isn't. When you get right down to it, it shouldn't have been a surprise because they've alleged the whole time that car around that house was Brian's, right? They've let everybody run with that theory, that idea, that allegation in their PCA, and the whole time it was a lie. But Bill's okay with that too. It's just shocking that our people that man, and they get away with it, folks, because we don't pay enough attention to that. We pay attention to the cell phone pictures of what somebody has interpreted and told you what there's in the picture. We pay attention to this theory of Aryan nations or drug cartels, which God only knows who committed this crime, right?
I was
But
debunking
Right now,
the.
there are
Hey, I
very
was debunking the drug cartel today. So, just to say that.
how are you debunking it?
Well, go watch the video.
Well, you could sum it up here quickly. It's not to say I won't watch your video. I normally try to catch your videos and at least like them.
because because it was numerous ways that they stated how the cartels carry out their hits and everything else, and the
Okay.
the way that it isn't, it was contradictory to everything we know about this crime.
That's fair enough. Not to say that they couldn't operate in a way that's unique in in this particular situation, but you're saying, I don't know. It's like when I said it before, right? That's an observation based on real life facts and how they're known to execute or terminate people they're going to terminate. So you have a vast. We all have a vast understanding of how these drug cartels carry out their hits. Is that fair?
Of course.
Okay, that's no different than when I say that the most likely killer is within the circle of the victims.
Well, I also said, if we're gonna challenge the stereotype, it could have been the drug cartel. There would have been 10 of them in the Elantra because they're Hispanic, and they drank Modelo's and Coronas in the kitchen until they got nice and tipsy, and then they went and committed the crime because that was the party sounds that they heard in the house.
All right. I mean, but when I say it could be within the circle, there's more likely to be within the circle of known associates. No, I know you. I know you are. I know. But still, the way they kill is specific, and there's so many incidences of it that this one steps outside of that norm. And I say, when you read the PCA and you look at the crime scene, it wouldn't be unnormal for someone that these victims knew to have committed this crime against them. That would be the normal. You're rarely killed unsuspectingly by a stranger. Rarely. It does happen, but normally you have a connection to the person that killed you, even if it's gang related. You did something to offend that gang. You had an affiliation with somebody in that gang. Fair enough.
Yep.
And usually murders all have that backdrop for motive. That means there's some connection to you and the person. Now, could you walk down the street and get mugged and shot and killed? Sure, absolutely. And that person doesn't live within your circle, have anything to do with you. That does happen as well. But most commonly, murders are committed by people within your circle.
And there's a purpose for it. It isn't just because you believe that this was the reason. You're gonna know the reason was this, that, and the other. There's calling cards. There's all kinds of messages sent through these killings.
Yeah. That Lana there with that beep in her stream. Good God, someone needs to go to her house and fix that for her. That's just fucking incredible. I just, oh boy. Anyway, I do pop into a lot of different streams and try to catch the gist of what they're saying. And she was making a point about the girls and about a love triangle and all of that. And that's actually the point that I made right in the very beginning. Now, that doesn't mean that my point is valid, but it stays within the bound of evidence available to us. I don't bring in outside data to see the view, to compose the view of what I'm saying. When I say that people close to the victims are more likely to be involved with their demise. And then when you look at the crime scene, you look at the actions, you look at the statements, you look at the accusations that the police have documented and the information that they've released. And to me, it never got beyond, in my mind, that somebody in that house was involved in one way, shape, or form.
Well, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for someone to drop that Murphy could have done it. You know what I mean?
That Murphy's a hell of a dog.
Murphy's a hell of a hitman, bro.
You want to hear one of the dumbest things I've heard in this case? That people keep bringing up?
Okay.
What's that?
How they found one dog hair under Brian's mouse pad, and it could be Murphy's. Like Pullman doesn't have any fucking dogs.
Yeah, just like Moscow only has one Asian, bro.
Like, I pet dogs all over the place here.
They found what appeared to be a dog hair. Right?
Yeah, I know, but people are saying that it's Murphy's.
Yeah, and so when
Or even a dog hair from Moscow.
Yeah.
well, that
yeah.
dog hair could have been from the last tenant.
Exactly. It'd be kind of weird to be under the mouse pad, but you're not wrong. It could have been.
Dude, it could have flew into your apartment when you opened the door, and you don't even own a dog. I bet you I got dog hair in my house. I don't even own a dog.
The
Yeah.
dude vacuumed nonstop. How the fuck did he miss the dog hair, bro? Is he that bad of a criminal?
I mean,
Pit-
I would
Pitbull
get dog hair
product.
all over my place too, but I pet every dog that walks by.
You know, I've got so, and that this is the catch-22 is that okay? You can interpret that as Murphy's, but how is it at this point that there is no statement of anything found when she comes out and says that there was no connection between Kohlberger and the victims, electronic or otherwise. When she comes out and says that after they searched all these places, there was nothing to connect him to the victims in his car, his apartment, his home, and his workplace. That includes the dog hair.
You would
I mean,
think.
you can't make a statement like that if the dog hair is Murphy's. That's a connection.
Yeah, and the rusty brown stain on the mattress and this and that and the other.
They found blood on his pillow.
It said rusty brown stain. It didn't say blood.
Right. And they tested to see if it was blood. And everybody said, yeah, he wrapped himself up in a shower curtain. I'm sorry, folks, but I'd like to make I'm not going to out of respect to the families, but I would like to make a video of somebody doing this crime, going through that house doing this, okay? And then wrapping themselves up in a shower curtain and getting in their car and driving off and leaving no evidence that they were ever in that house at all. Anywhere. Not on the
No, they wrapped the inside of the Elantra, bro, with like tarps
Bubble
and all
wrap.
kinds of shit. Yeah, bubble wrap.
Yeah, he bought shit on Amazon, bubble wrap, and he turned himself into a big walking bubble. He was the boy in the bubble. You guys ever see that movie?
Yeah.
The Bubble Boy. You remember that? It was even on Seinfeld. But there are people with immune systems that do not defend them from anything, and the common cold could kill them. And they're in bubbles. They're in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe Kohlberger had a walking bubble attachment that we're unaware of. He's a former bubble boy that could commit murders and leave no. Well, apparently he left transfer.
It'd have to be a shrinkable bubble, though. You know, a permeable bubble that can shrink down to the size of any doorway, so you'd be able to go through the doorways and up the stairs.
I think it's possible he has the power. He has the mental capacity to transport himself from one location to another. I think on a straight fucking road that he's able to transfer out of the fucking driver's compartment and into a home and commit a crime and then zap himself back before the next curve.
Maybe the shower curtain with like Superman's cape. Maybe.
Well, they never put a search warrant out for a shower curtain, did they?
No, they didn't.
No. Huh. Nobody saw a big bubble rolling to a white. It's Moops. Somebody watched Seinfeld. It's Moors. No, it's Moops. It says right here, Moops. It's Moors, you idiot. It says Moops. That was stupid, man. Seinfeld was stupid, but that's what made it funny. Oh my god! Can you imagine this kid all wrapped up in all this protective gear to keep all the whatever, it's all the blood and flying off these victims?
Why would he need to do that when he had the Dickies coveralls on that people get to like change oil? Apparently, blood like bounces off of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever wore them over their clothes, but if you wear Dickies and spill oil or any liquid on it, it soaks through the Dickies and stains your clothes.
No shit.
It isn't waterproof. It ain't vinyl. It's not a rubber suit.
Plus, blood is like sticky. It's not like water.
No.
It's like stickier than water.
He could have starched them, you know. It could have bounced off then, you know. He starched his Dickies.
Yeah, I don't know. Got waterproof spray or something like they use.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I've been wondering about this guy. Chris Madonna claims the glove he found is where they got the third DNA profile from. Well, problem with that is the glove was identified in the documents originally before he ever found that glove. Okay,
Plus,
they knew that
Chris McDonough's a moron.
they had taken 3 male DNAs, or 4. One was in a glove, and there were 3 in the vicinity of the crime scene, part of the crime scene. That was said early. That was documented earlier before he ever came around and found. I think it was his glove, and the DNA they found was his.
You're talking about Chris's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that would be accurate. They found a glove where they got a third DNA profile from. He wouldn't be lying to you, right? If it's his DNA in the glove, he's still making a correct statement that the glove he found is where they got. But the fact that it's the third DNA profile from, actually, he's wrong. It would be the 4th DNA profile.
Yeah.
Right? The twit doesn't even know what number. Dear God, he's another Howard Bloom. Whatever. What is that guy's proper name? Bloom? What?
Bloom, I think.
Bloom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bloom.
You didn't buy the audiobook?
I'm not buying nothing from that guy. And I don't need to be perturbed about it, Brian. I mean, 12 gauge.
Oh, okay.
Aha!
No, I didn't buy it either, bro.
McDonough announced that Brian Kober going on the house 12 times, too, from the PCA. Yeah, which was debunked in the court of law by the judge and the prosecutor.
Well, it doesn't even, you don't have to debunk it in court. It doesn't say that in the PCA. It doesn't say anything like that in the PCA.
No, it gives an option. It says
no. All it says is he connected to the tower that covered the house. That's all it said.
No, they said that
all it says.
12 previous trips, and they wanted a warrant to investigate the guy, right?
Yeah, he said it says
maybe to exclude stalking.
He connected to the tower that covers the house 12 previous times. They wanted to see if he was stalking them or whatever. That doesn't mean he was stalking them. That's not proof he was ever near the house. It's not evidence he was ever near the house.
Right. And near the house is subjective. What if he was near the house by driving by the main road to get to a fucking place to buy coffee?
Right. You drove down, I don't know what the road is in Moscow, but the Highway 95 turns into the road that goes through Moscow. That's kind of near the house. It's not far from the house.
No.
But these towers are way the fuck out there. I mean, they're not like right next to each other, so it'd have to connect to something. You know what I mean? Like, if I've never been to the area, so I don't have a damn clue what it's like anywhere around there. You live around there, Twiddle, so you know what it's like. But I have no clue what the landscape or any of that shit is. I would think that around here the cell towers are spread out so far that I called 911 one time on a fire that I observed on a highway. And I connected to the 911 caller location was 30 miles away. I was like, what the fuck? She's like, hold on, I got to transfer you to someone closer. So that tells you that you're really not certain what tower you're picking up,
But out in Moscow, there isn't a lot of towers that have that chaos. So, if he's at the south end of the tower and it's hitting, he's using the tower in Moscow, right? And he could be 10 miles down the road. He could be 800 feet from it. We just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But that
it depends
tower
on which tower it is.
Queen Road, right?
There's the tower in Lewiston covers 1122 King Road.
I'm curious what Heather had said there. If people
That's like 20, 30 miles away.
So that one covers that location.
Yeah, there's like 3, at least AT&T towers that cover 1122 King Road.
Right. All right. So
there's one that's fairly close to the house. The Blaine one is kind of close, but that covers a huge area too. It covers all of Moscow, including Floyd. So basically, where the Moscow Pullman Airport Road is, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think you're still technically in Washington at that intersection. But anytime you drive into Moscow from Pullman, you're connecting. Well, you could connect to that tower. I don't know which tower you connect to. It depends on which tower they're talking about. But that Lewiston tower covers up to that main road coming in from Moscow or Pullman to Moscow. In Moscow, it covers 1122 King Road, but that's 20, 30 miles away from Moscow.
Right. So if he went by there in Lewiston, however many times, he could have been connecting to that damn tower.
Exactly.
It not been right next to the fucking house, right?
But as I understand it, wait a minute,
Exactly.
guys. As I understand it, the photograph of an Elantra going by that coffee shop that's in Blaine, right?
No, there's.
Is-
Are you talking about when he
wait,
went and got coffee, or at Kate's cup of
going
coffee or
south
whatever?
of Moscow, there's a place in what is in Blaine? It was like 14 minutes away from the house. That picture they say is consistent with the cell phone ping. So what they were trying to do was show you that their cell phone pings were accurate because we have a picture of an Elantra going by this coffee shop at the same time we're telling you that he pinged in that area. There is that. I don't know if you forget that, but up by where they claim he was, they also claim that there's a video of an Elantra going by that location.
Well, I don't know where that is.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. It's at the top of that cell phone tower from Lewiston. It comes up to a triangle. It comes to a point up at Blaine. I think that's the name of the town.
Yeah.
Right? And they're saying that photo of the car, the video of the car going by, and their cell phone ping are consistent as being one and the same. And as a point to try to suggest that they got it right. When they claim where he is, this is one example of where they did get it right, is what they put forward. That's the inferences I was getting from it.
You're talking about the day after the murders happened when he was going to Lewiston?
Not the day after, the night, that very night when they show he drove away. And he's actually going south, and he's going down by a coffee shop in Blaine. Maybe I got the town.
That coffee shop was still in Moscow.
No, maybe it was some other business that picked him up, where they show him at the top of that triangle. There's a business there that recorded a video of a car going by that was an Elantra. It's south of that road they say he came off from. That's 708 or 7, whatever it was.
Are you talking about Red Star Coffee?
Yes, that
I don't
one.
know the name of the place, man, but I'm just telling you, they used a video, and the video is claims that the vehicle they see at the time when the video is consistent where they're locating Koberger's phone. Okay?
Yeah, that's what it's called, Twizzle Red Star.
That might be.
Because Red Star's on that main road. It's right down the street from Floyd's.
Right.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. And that's been shown to be that's just 12 trips that he took by that house and that area that cell phone tower service. That's all that says.
Well, we don't know when the car's caught on Red Star. They just supposedly have footage of a car driving by Red Star.
Right. But from what I remember, they were trying to make the inference that connection to the video and the ping location was consistent. Like this, see?
No, because they're saying that he drove. Okay, so what they're trying to say is that he drove by Floyd's and then drove by Red Star because it's right down that Pullman Moscow road. It's the main road from Pullman to Moscow that it goes through like the main part of Moscow, right? So like every time I drive to the courthouse, I drive on that road by Floyd's and then Red Star. But that would have been when his phone was disconnected or turned off or in airplane mode or whatever.
Okay. All right. So Heather's answering that question I had about that information she posted. And so it turned out to be fake. I remember when Steve Gonzalez came out and said that they've got ways to look at stuff that people have no clue about. And they got the proof he was there. So then this came. I think that this disconnects too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna change the topic here a second. Didn't Enan Harsh's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend drive an Elantra?
That I don't know.
I heard that very early on that when he did that interview with that lady, he was talking about his ex-girlfriend drove a white Elantra, or that he drove a white Elantra, or some shit like that. And he had given some kids a ride, and he was worried that they were going to mug him or some shit. And I don't know. It was a wild-ass story. But
he told
he told that. He told that to a reporter. And my point in asking that is, if either one of them had a white Elantra, That would make sense that why the launcher would have been driving around the fucking Queen Road apartment. If
Right.
it could have been his or
Could have
his.
been his girlfriend. She could have parked there and went out to go to his place and then came back out in the car and left. Mad.
Right.
Right.
Or could have been looking for parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he claims that nobody was with him. He came home, went to bed. He noticed some real high-end SUV. Black.
Yeah, that black SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got some kind of crazy stories. I think he's a legitimate suspect. I don't know much about him, but anybody connected to that house is a suspect. And yet, they claim that they investigated all of these people and they settled. It seems to me like they just settled on a Koberger. And look at the Karen Reed case. Fair people, like most of us in the world today, if they put on their "I want to be fair today" hat, wouldn't have the balls to bring that case against Karen Reed. Wouldn't have the balls to go against Koberger with the information being provided. To me, a fair and honest person wouldn't accept it at face value. They'd want these questions answered
Yep.
satisfactorily, right?
Yeah.
I wish we could find out what happened in the grand jury because apparently there were a few grand jury members who wanted more evidence.
And they were denied.
Yep.
Right. And this goes back to the judge saying he had a weak case, but to the fact that a preliminary hearing, this would have been stopped.
Yeah.
That's the tragedy here. This case would have never made it out of a preliminary hearing. There was no factual data to support their evidence. Zero. None.
Well, I think if Mowry knew how to do the Cast Viz program, it wouldn't have gone past the grand jury anyway.
Didn't Mallory use the software that was designed by Cy-Ray?
No, he used the Cast Viz program, or Cy-Ray's program is called Trax.
Okay.
But all they had was the CDR data, which it doesn't have, like, all it shows is the tower you connect to.
Right.
And like where that tower covers. It doesn't tell you how close to the tower you are. It doesn't have the timing data involved. That's why they keep talking about the timing data, because that's how you tell how far you are away from the tower.
Right.
But the thing is Mowry had the file with the timing information. He just didn't know how to use it.
So how did he come to a conclusion and present to a grand jury?
Well, I have no idea, but I'd really like to know what he said, because I'm pretty sure they just pulled up the coverage maps that he was connecting to and said this could be his possible route from Moscow to Pullman. That's literally how they got their possible routes, was from looking at that data.
Yeah, this whole case is.
I mean, when did police work rely on?
You know what else is crazy? I was thinking about this earlier.
Supposedly,
Yeah, it
could have,
Right.
They relied on that because every asshole on here runs to that. Every asshole in the world seems to be content with hearing woulda, coulda, shoulda. Fair enough.
Instead of factual words, this is what we found to be factual, not presumably, probably, supposedly, approximately. Come on, man. You're just painting a picture of what you're guessing at. It sounds like.
Look at this comment on the screen. Look at this guy. It's a ridiculous comment. Mowry didn't know how to use it, but he's lambasted for not saving his work. Yeah. Of course he is.
No, he's lambasted. He's lambasted for both. No. He's lambasted for both. I'm telling you, lambasted for both. Because there's no way to recreate his map without him saving.
All right, let me get this in. You know how to save your fucking work? You click Act. And before the program fucking closes, it says, would you like to save your work? And you hit yes. Okay? You don't need an education in that. Go write up a Microsoft document and click fucking X. Go do a Photoshop fucking thing and click X. Okay? How many programs do you think that have the capacity to store the data you're manipulating or creating have that feature? Are you sure you want to close this? Or do you want to save these changes? That comes up on all of these fucking programs. So what training do you need to hit yes?
Maybe he was distracted by the new fresh donut that came into the office,
It's fucking incredible. He should be lambasted. What do you mean you didn't? I don't care if you didn't know how to use this. If you didn't know how to use the software, then what are you doing presenting this to a grand jury? I don't know anything about fucking fusion, but I should go work in a laboratory where they're trying to create fusion. I'm on it tomorrow morning, folks. I'm getting a white lab coat and a fucking pen protector, and I'm going to work.
The crazier thing was that FBI cast agents are required to have 500 hours of experience in order to testify in court.
Mm-hmm.
Mowry at that point in time had 24, and that was 3 years before. And then he said he'd used the cast viz like 12 or 20 times or something like that in that 3 years.
Didn't he say he got certificates or some shit? Like he wasn't really certified, but he got certificates to show that.
Well, there's like
he kind of knew what he was doing.
There's several different certifications for that.
Yeah,
this is an interesting point of view. This is one of the people that will not accept the data given in court. When you realize that the grand jury was presented with a document that said Kohberger was at that house, that document is a screenshot that he put together on software he doesn't know how to use. Okay, you have to question the validity of the document. These are facts you're dealing with. Fact, he did present a document that he claims shows Kohberger's location. Fact, he also admits he has no idea how to use the fucking program. Fact. So what are you left to understand here? Can you trust the data like that? I never met you in my life, and I'm going to be a character witness on you. Would you accept that? Is it okay for me to be your character witness? I don't even fucking know who you are. Isn't that the equivalent of, I don't even know how the fucking program works, but I took a screenshot and we used it in the grand jury to indict this guy. So, okay, I'm going to testify about your character and you're going to end up in fucking jail. I don't even know you. Is that fair for you? Do you think that's how the world should fucking work?
Nope.
I mean, what kind of where's your depth of fucking thought? I mean, I think your fucking brains have just left. They're gone. I don't care what he was asked. The guy shouldn't have taken the fucking responsibility to do any of that stuff. Don't ask me to create fusion, okay? I know how rockets work, but don't tell me to go to work at Tesla, okay? Bad idea. All right, I got a basic understanding of many things in this world, but don't tell me to go work at the place or create something. I'm not going to go build you a fucking Raptor engine. That's what I mean. It's just insanity. You can't make excuses for what these people did. What they did is nonsensical. It's complete, utter ignorance. That's the fucking problem. That's what we're focusing on. He did what he was asked. He's not supposed to do that. My God. Can you imagine if you guys told me to manage the nuclear codes for the launching of the missiles? Fucking duck, everybody. That's what I mean. I can't be a character witness for somebody I don't know. So how can I examine and produce evidence that's going to indict and take an American's freedom away when I don't know how to do it? These are the points of focus that are important. You don't defend people that do this. This man should never have taken that assignment.
So we got Mowry that's unqualified. We got Payne that's unqualified.
We got a cop that's known to have manipulated evidence that works for the state police, Brady Gigolo.
Right.
Right. In a previous case where they helped hide exculpatory evidence to try to convict a chiropractor of killing somebody. How about Stickergate? Same group of jerk-offs. Well, let's not, all these cases, just so you know, folks.
And they have the sexual allegation, the WSU cops, right?
From like a couple years prior or something.
And they had allegations too against Moscow cops for the same shit, right?
Hang on.
They were asking these students for sexual favors to get out of tickets or whatever, or was that just WSU?
I think that was WSU, but I don't really know.
Look, can I just say something on it? This is important. Listen, look at the mental gymnastics this person has performed to attack Ann Taylor.
Everyone
now, let me just say that the facts are that regardless of who asked him, he's an unqualified, inept moron. that should not have taken the task, yet he did. And that man now is responsible for charging a guy with 4 horrific murders, of which none of the data provided thus far can even prove, even remotely prove Brian did this. All the data is false, including his. And you're saying that by Ann pointing this out, she's doing it to make the prosecution look bad. You got to be out of your motherfucker. You don't got no brain. There ain't no brain to be out of. You can't be out of a mind that you've never possessed. You possess nothing. Nothing. This is that fucking Brian again. I guarantee it. It's that fucking jerk off. Making these fucking mental fucking retard leaps to defend the cops. You can't defend what they did. It's wrong. It's inherently wrong. It's justifiably fucking wrong. It's criminal what they've done here. Same thing in the Karen Reed case. Same thing in the Gigolo case. But now, let's just give these people a pass. Christ almighty. Where do these mental midgets come from? Twiz, you better not be producing kids. Tell me you're not.
Nope.
You're just fucking with me, bro.
I
Unbelievable.
refuse.
Wiz, you're still on suspect list number 1, bro. You're
That's
suspect.
fine.
I think I got
Suspect vehicle number 1.
You
I'm
can't
suspect
connect me.
vehicle number 2.
My car at the time was a 2021 C8 Corvette mid-engine fucking sport coupe. There's no way you could connect me to that crime. I wouldn't even get near an Elantra.
I see so many of those damn cars now that since
Yeah.
this case came up, it's like I wasn't even looking for them before, but now every fucking white Elantra crosses my
Yeah.
path.
Oh yeah, now you see them constantly. You can't help it because that's all we've heard about for the last 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're mistaking cars for an Elantra. You're like, oh yeah, that's a fucking
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then you're like,
I found a
that's
2008 white Elantra for sale today.
Did you buy it?
don't you dare
No.
buy that motherfucker.
You trade in your 11 to 13?
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I could buy it.
What do you mean you wish? Just go buy it.
I wish.
Come on, now we
Well,
need.
how
We need
different is the 08 from the 11?
It's pretty different, but
the post from the beginning. Veritas shared saying all those Indian officers were involved. I hadn't seen. I don't know what your Indiana officers were involved. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
probably something to do with the cops that pulled him over in Indiana.
A chicken plant caught on fire, and 10,000 chickens went to chicken heaven.
God.
Well, that's not good.
Right, look at this. Got so ignored by the media and most especially by the public. But do you remember when the eggs went up to like $6, $7, $8 a dozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Do you know that there was 1 billion chickens lost to a fire?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like food plants all over the country that were catching fire
Not
randomly around that time.
Right. But I'm talking about egg laying chickens. 1 billion of them were killed in a fire.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody has any conceivable possible way to vision 1 billion, my question is, they couldn't put it out before they got to that billionth bird? I mean, do you have any fucking idea how many birds make 1 billion? How many of them birds would be around you? You, as far as the eye can see, would be chickens. How in the fuck did 1 billion of them die in a fire and nobody was able to put the fire out?
They've been doing
I
this for
think-
years, bro. They've been doing this for years. You know,
It was a controlled burn. In my
the farmland and shit, the
ignored.
beef plants, all that, the cattle, burning them up, man.
Well, my point is though, that never even, it was brought up in the news once or twice and then nobody ever talked about it. But that's an astonishing thing. And now they talk about this new pandemic could be a bird flu. Well, I, in some respects, see that that's possible because that would be the reason. When you look at all of China and you look at all the other countries that have burned chickens, it's because of a bird flu infection. And that's the only way to eradicate it. You got to burn all the birds in that area to eradicate it from being communicated to other chickens. And that, so here's what I'm saying is, I think both can be true, that there is a real issue with bird flu in this country, and that right under our nose, They've been burning billions of chickens now for years. And I suspect it's a bird flu. In other words, I don't think if they bring up bird flu that it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's true. And I think the evidence shows it to be most likely true when you have that many birds burning. Oh my God. It's just crazy. And we for whatever reason, you'll if the bird flu becomes an epidemic in this country or even starts to infect citizens, you watch how many people come out and accuse that as a lie, as a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But how do you explain billions of birds being burned over the last 3-4 years? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't even imagine a billion.
That's why I'm sick. I ate fucking chicken from Hibachi this weekend. Hibachi grill. Yeah. Chicken and fried rice.
I got chicken fried rice, and I had Chinese food the last 2 days.
Yeah, me too.
I buy an extra pint of chicken fried or fried rice, not chicken fried, but just straight up fried rice, and I'll eat it tomorrow with a T-bone. Yeah, bird flu exists. I agree. Hibachi sounds yummy, according to Heather. Anyway, folks, this has been an awesome evening. It's longer than probably one of the longest streams I've ever done, and it's been enjoyable. You guys have been fun. According to Amber, we're clucked. I don't know what the hell that means. I think most people have been. I think people have been cucked, like cuckold, not
cuckold. Yeah, cuckold. That's what I thought.
Oh my! And I can't wait to hear the next conspiracy theory of who did this. And not a single person worrying about the people making false allegations against Coburn, or if not blatantly false, if not lies. I just like Brett Payne said, he was given information and told to put it in the PCA. He reminds me of the guy that was on the stand for Karen Reed that had 2 years experience.
I still think that he cherry picked information, though.
He may have, but I think he was directed to do so. Not knowingly as a conspiracy, but because he was being told by people above him with more experience.
Maybe even by who?
But here's what I'm trying to say. That's how your corruption is inside these police departments. Like I told you when I got arrested by a new cop that knew it wasn't me that needed to be arrested. He did it anyway. He works for these. He's got to follow orders. That's where the corruption is in your police departments. And so I suspect Mr. Brett Payne didn't willfully, maybe he eventually did. He got on board with these guys, but I honestly think that putting that man in charge and then him telling you the PCA is a combination of information that came from all over the place that they were giving me. He had help writing it. So that's what I mean. I tend to think that that's how the corruption starts in these young officers. They're not inherently bad people. They're not corrupt people, but they're entering a corrupt system.
Yeah.
And that system puts you in positions and places that to you may look like a step up or a doorway to a promotion. Unbeknownst to you, you're being manipulated by your superiors.
That could be true because he is from the military, Just got to find people that will follow orders.
Right.
All I know is I look at what he said on the stand, at least with the cell data, and then I look at the cell data that they had access to, and there are definitely more options to what could have happened other than putting his phone in airplane mode, turning it off, or losing connection in a spot where there is good connection, Mm-hmm. And I just think that there's no way in my mind that Nick Balance wouldn't know these other options. Because he's actually trained in this shit. So why isn't it why aren't they also listed as options? That's what I don't understand. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that he didn't put them in there because they didn't fit his narrative.
Right. Well, the other things he did put in there don't fit his narrative either, though.
Well, those are the ones that are kind of point to guilt. But the fact is that they didn't have the data to disprove the idea that Brian just drove away.
I agree.
He put his phone down in the passenger seat and drove away. They wouldn't know.
Right. How about this statement here? This is one that often comes from people that don't want to look at the truth. How often is everything put into the PCA? Seems that cherry picking is just part of the process. Now, let me say that I agree with that on the face of that statement is accurate. However, you would only cherry pick that which proves unequivocally that somebody committed a crime. So your statement of cherry picking cannot apply to the Koberger case because what they cherry picked is verifiably false. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but it
if you're
still
gonna
kind of
cherry
alluded
pick,
to
let me
his
finish.
guilt.
If you're going to cherry pick and create a document to charge somebody with a crime, you're going to put in that document everything you can to prove that the person did it. You don't want there to be questions or chaos within it. In this instance, they didn't do that. But you guys go look at arrest warrants, and I've been arrested a number of times. And believe me when I tell you that they're very descriptive in what it is they're accusing me of doing and the information they have that says I did it. Never was it a surprise in court they came out with something I didn't know they knew. Okay? It was no surprise to me. So when you do cherry pick, you're always going to cherry pick in a way that favors you. And the way to favor yourself in law enforcement is to provide facts to the court. Facts that are at least on their face irrefutable facts. And there is nothing in the PCA of Koberger that has yet to not have been irrefuted. Go ahead, Twiz.
No, I agree. In the PCA, they don't even put Brian in Moscow.
Oh, and they put him everywhere but Moscow. Fair enough.
Yeah.
They put him
You know what I
everywhere
always
except
wondered?
Moscow.
You know what I always wondered? You know how when you go to college, they give you either parking stickers or parking, the little things you hang from the rear view mirror, the parking,
Parking
uh,
pass.
yeah, the parking passes. Wouldn't it be interesting if any of these cam shots caught any of that stuff, like a parking sticker or anything? Because those
I
little
doubt it
kids,
would show, especially at nighttime.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it would be interesting if not necessarily from WSU, but from U of I or some other place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be.
So here's another statement. It's another one of these people that need to do mental gymnastics. Bill believes there was stalking. He just got Edelman to admit that the defense believes there was no stalking. That's not true at all. Judge said there was no stalking.
And also states that
Okay.
they never told Edelman any information from inside the court or inside the case. I'll be right back.
But that whole thing, don't be cray cray. Is your statement is inaccurate. The judge clearly and prosecutor Thompson both clearly stated there was no stalking in this case alone. None. Yeah, it's another of the guys doing these mental fucking gymnastics. Just an idiot. It probably is Jeff with his infinite amount of accounts he creates because he has this sick fucking perverted need. Literally sick perverted need to irritate people. That's his masturbation. I prefer to use my hand. I don't know. But he wants to masturbate by fucking with people and pretend like he's this holier than thou, upstanding, fucking reasonable person because he talks in such a nice way. And dear God, I really pray that everybody's doing well. And blah blah. I play guitar and music is my thing. And I mean, I could act like that too. And then just come off and bring up these crazy fucking theories to see how you deal with them because I know it annoys you, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to create all the accounts that I can to do that and try to hide behind them. And I never did that.
Where did you hear that? Anne is resigning? I just got something
I
sent
said
to me.
a while ago it's time for Anne to move on.
Oh,
She's
okay.
done all that she can do in discovery. It's time to bring in a powerhouse fucking set of lawyers and make a splash. Get it back in the media. Get everybody focused on the fact that at this point, everything they have alleged in their documents has been proven false. And you do need a lawyer with the freedom to do that. A media that'll grab media attention, that'll start to impress upon the public the ineptitude and the fucking potential crimes that police department has committed against its community.
Is she resigning from being his attorney or just resigning from?
Oh, I think I say that don't you remember about a month ago I said that or more? I said I think it's time for Ann Taylor to move on and let lawyers come in. That she served her useful purpose and that now the defense of Koberger needs to be brought to a new level with public attorneys, paid attorneys.
Well, who's going to step up? Johnny Cochran's dead.
Don't need Johnny Cochran. Look at the lawyer that handled the Karen Reed case. I'd say to you, my opinion is the only mistake he made is with the taillight. I say that if he would explain it so the jury knew without a doubt that much of a lens broken off of that taillight, the minute you turn the headlights on, that back corner would be bright white like a headlight. The minute you turn and then when you turn on the brakes, it would double in brightness. And you got images of her vehicle driving around at 5:15 in the morning, and both rear corners of the car are red. Ain't possible. If she smashed that taillight the way the police said, and you caught the back of her vehicle on a camera, that would have been a bright white. It would have glared the camera. Them bulbs are so fucking bright. Right? That lens is like a 1/4 inch thick. You know, the amount of energy, the amount of light bulb power you got. Everything in your life. Just light through that lens. Yeah. I really think that guy should have spent a good 3 to 5 minutes explaining that light, based on what they're claiming, this much of it broken out, and you would have had the light of the sun coming off that rear right corner of the car. I have a document that talks about it. Its names Ann and Jay both. I honestly think that she should step aside. I've thought that now for a while. She's been able to show that the probable cause affidavit was invalid, and therefore any of it used inside a grand jury, it should be stopped. This case should be ended, and it's not going to get ended unless the prosecution and the system can be attacked. And Ann Taylor is in no position to do that. She's got to work with these people, and a lot of folks don't understand that, right? She has to get up and go to work every day alongside Bill and all these other people around the state. She can't go on a crusade against all of these people. You need outside attorneys to come in and do that. All right. We'll see. I mean, this is a rumor.
I don't even know why they need to, because Massoff is working for them. She's not a public defender. She could do it. Massoff? The other lady attorney?
Yeah. But so there's Ann, there's Jay, and you're saying there's another attorney involved, right?
Yeah, Massoff.
They work at the public defender's office. Maybe it's an outside firm. No?
Yeah, she has her own private firm.
Well, how could it be signed by Jay on May 28, 2024, and they're still there?
Well, it says effective July 15th. I'll send it to you right now.
Oh, you do got a copy of it? Can't you present it on the screen here? You don't have those options there?
I could do that, but I'm still going to send it to you.
All right.
That seems crazy to me. I don't think this is real.
It has to be a death penalty certified lawyer. Well, there's many of them around the country. I mean, they're not rare.
Unless somebody's going to come in and do the case pro bono, though, I don't see this being real.
We don't know the wealth and the financial abilities of the Koberger family. We just don't. They live in a gated community. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people say that they don't have a lot of money because they've filed for bankruptcy and stuff.
But let me make a point, though. In fact, the exoneration of Koberger based on false data being used to indict him may open this town up to some serious litigation for lawsuits.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they're fucked.
I don't know that they are. I mean, I think here's what I think. I think if millions of us paid attention to what's going on in the case itself and left on the sidelines these theories and bullshit stories of these streamers, then yeah, I think the results of these cases would be favorable. I think public pressure, that's the whole point of being American, having freedom of speech and the public pressure we can apply. And we have the most magnificent tool called the internet that we're letting entertain us into total defeat and destruction and despair that we could actually use in a way to use for what our freedom of speech means. So I don't know. I just got it. Yeah, I'd like to see it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I've been pro and moving on, not because she's an unqualified or a bad lawyer, but because the system in that state needs to be attacked and taken down.
It says Ann is resigning from Kootenai County Public Defender's Office effective July 15th. the creation of the Office of the State Public Defender and the enactment of Idaho Code, which releases counties from any further financial or legal obligations to provide indigent defense and requires the state of Idaho to assume the full financial and legal obligation to provide indigent public. This doesn't mean that Ann is not going to work for Brian anymore.
Okay.
Right.
Based on what I just read, I'm still reading the document.
I mean, she's made enough money off this that she may have her own private practice at this point, or she may.
Well,
be
that makes it sound like they're getting rid of all the local public defender thing, and they're making them all state. So the state's going to pay it, not the county.
right.
That doesn't mean that Ann's off the case.
Right. Well, she's a state public defender, and she moves around. She's one of 13 that do death penalty cases.
But she's based out of Kootenai, which isn't even in Latah. That's the thing that it still doesn't even make sense because she's not even like Kootenai is not Latah. So why is she on Brian's case to begin with? But that makes it sound like
only 13 certified public defenders that.
Well, exactly.
Death penalty.
There's not a local one that could do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think this means that she's going to be
gone
off the case.
Well, the 15th.
It's probably just going to be there. So basically, it'd be like an office or whatever. Like the county is going to stop funding it, but the state's going to take over. But they're changing like the title of what you are. It doesn't mean that she's not his attorney still.
Right. I'd like to. You sent that to me on Discord.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, I'm gonna, guys. I got a big project we're starting in the morning, and it's about an hour away from where I am. So I'm gonna.
Kathy Mabbitt's going to be the new attorney.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. So I appreciate.
Thanks for having me, Sarge. Thanks for having me, bro.
I appreciate you guys coming up. It was very awesome.
Hey, I'm going to present something Tuesday night that's kind of controversial, so don't come at me, bro.
Sure.
All right.
All right, Jeff.
Later, y'all.
Okay.
Later, dude.